That's the way you want to start one of these Google Hangouts, baby. Hi, magic world of the fair internets. It is Love Beer Radio, broadcasting from all over the place: Buffalo, New York, northeastern Pennsylvania, frickin' Niagara-on-the-Lake, wherever the hell that is. That could be frickin' Nigeria, as far as I'm concerned. And we're doing a little bit. We're talking about beer and glassware and all kinds of fun stuff today. So. Say hi, guys. Well, first off, we have Joe from NAPA Beer Reviews. Say hi, Joe.
How's it going?
And then we have our special guest, the infamous Dusty Joe, the infamous Average Joe, the infamous Average Joe, some kind of numbers after his name. I don't know what's going on. Say hi, Joe.
Hello.
Yeah. Nice little hi there. Yeah. So, yeah. What's going on, guys? How's your week?
Pretty good. Coming up with some finals this week for some classes and projects. Thankfully, one that got extended, so we don't have to hand it in until this coming Friday, which was a huge help.
You're coming back from school on Friday, correct?
Friday, yeah.
And then we're scrapping. We're going to do that whole booze thing on Sunday. That's beat, right?
Yeah. That's.
So what are you doing?
Other time.
So what are you doing on Sunday?
We have some family coming over.
Okay, I have a bottle share if you want to go to it.
All right, cool. What time?
4 o'clock.
I don't know. I may not be able to swing that, but.
Walesboro, totally Walesboro.
Ooh.
With a Z.
Yeah, with a Z. Well, I mean, if it's not with a Z, I mean, it doesn't count. It doesn't count, really.
Maybe 75 Z's like Chad.
Without the Z.
No, there's me and like a bunch of people are doing one at that backyard ale house, like a backyard separate thing, but just a group of people with a bunch of good stuff. So if you want to come, you can come. You too, Joe. Average Joe, sorry. You can come too, buddy. Drive all the way down from Buffalo if you want.
Yeah, it's only 10 hours round trip. I'm there right now.
How about you, Joe? How was your week? Average
good.
Joe. Sorry, I gotta keep saying Average Joe.
Yeah, can't get confused. That was pretty good. Best part was yesterday. Went to a beer fest in Buffalo, downtown Buffalo, Canal Side, right by First Niagara Center, which is like the Buffalo Sabres arena. Really nice. It rained for like the first hour, and then it was a lot better. But got VIP tickets, and it was a great time. Anyway.
The what?
I said highlight of my week.
The VIP, did it get you anything extra special, or just kind of get you a little bit of early access and comfort?
Yeah, they had 3 different setups: $40 it was $40 to get in, $49 to get in an hour earlier, and then $75 to get in an hour earlier. Get special VIP beers, and they get basically free meat. They had a 6-course meal where you could get as much as you want, and it was all in this nice little tent, kind of away from everyone. You could still go to the regular fest as well if you wanted to. So. It was well worth it, considering what they had food and beer-wise.
What, the whole thing was tented, or just that special section?
Where the entire thing wasn't tented. It was just where each beer or each brewery was. Just a bunch of tents there, but it was kind of just like in an open park. But the VIP was all tented, so if you didn't get VIP tickets, you got rained down a little bit.
That's what I was about to say. I was going to be like, hey, if you got VIP, it was just worth it not to get douched on.
Yeah, I was just kind of pointing at people and laughing. No, not really. But it was one of those things where the VIP...
Actually, no, really. You totally made fun of somebody at some point, I guarantee it.
Yeah, people are running around and I'm looking at them like, you should spend the extra $25. Don't know what you're doing. No, but it's one of those things where whenever I go to Beer Fest, I always like weigh VIP versus regular, because usually they're $20, $25, $30 more. But for me, it's always worth it, because it's always like free food or like free all-you-can-eat stuff, then the special beers. And it's like, if there's food trucks and stuff out there, food trucks aren't really cheap. They're anywhere $8, $10, $12 for each thing. So if you eat twice over the course of 4 or 5 hour Beer Fest, you're paying almost $70 anyway if the tickets are $45 or $50. So it's like, just go to fucking VIP. It's the way to go.
Yeah, it totally makes sense. I mean, like, make it like, I mean, not to associate it with fucking first class when you fly, but it's very similar in that you just get extra leg room. Obviously, half the time you're not pushing through everybody. You can walk wherever you want to go. You can do whatever you want to do. But first class is like 3 times the amount of the frickin' ticket when you buy an airplane ticket. Whereas here you're paying 1/8 of the price, and then you're getting to do whatever the hell you want. So it just makes sense most of the time.
The coolest thing about it though is they did a whole hog roast and incorporated it into almost every single course they did. So it was like, aside from that what was it, the bison burger with the glazed donut roll and the bacon ketchup. But they did like a Cuban sandwich with their, the hog, and they did like a bratwurst thing with pork, and it was crazy. It was like all like very high class stuff. It wasn't just like, oh, here's like a hot dog, or here's some turkey that's sliced up. It was like stuff you'd really want to eat. and they paired it with everything, like on the thing they told you what to pair it with, so you could go right up to the VIP beer thing and get it. So it's like, this with this Pilsner, or this with this IPA, and so on. So it's pretty awesome.
Nice. So yeah, there you go. That's our week. What did I do? I didn't do much of anything. No, I didn't do anything. I did a radio show again this week. That was fun. Got to talk to Oscar Blues. Got to actually talk to the head brewer, which is pretty cool. It's really... when you talk to brewers, sometimes they're aloof, sometimes they're non-talkative. This guy was talkative to the point where he said what you wanted to say, but he was also like super technical, which I kind of geek out over. He was actually talking about, if people don't know, Oscar Blues is from Colorado, but they recently opened up a brewery in North Carolina. So he went through a bunch of information about how, like, making the beers consistent from Colorado to North Carolina as far as water goes, and like like the way the water is, and getting the water the right way in order to like make their lower end beer, any beer, but more particularly their mass produced lower end beers, to make everything consistent. It was pretty damn cool, actually. So that was fun. Other than that, it's humid as fuck, and I'm sweating. So there you go.
Yeah, fuck humidity. That's all I got to say.
I know, right? It sucks. And it's like, we live in the area where it's like, where else? Where are you going to go? Florida? That's the only other worst place, I think, maybe?
Yeah.
I don't know.
And there's a lot of people in New York there. It's like, I'm going to Florida. I'm like, you can just have fun. Just have fun sweating 24/7. Just enjoy it. Oh, but it's really sunny. Well, that doesn't do anything.
Yeah, it's like 90 degrees at 9:30 in the morning. Enjoy that.
Yeah, it's really sunny on the surface of the moon, but you'd die if you went there without any fucking space there. Sunny doesn't make shit awesome.
I like that analogy.
Yeah, that was pretty far fucking out there. I was reaching on that one. So Joe, what are we doing today? Joe, regular Joe, not average Joe. Or they're both average. Extra special Joe. Niagara Joe.
I'm technically a Niagara as well.
No, you're not. Whatever. Joe with I was going to say Joe with a beard. Let's see what else is going to come up. Joe wearing headphones. Can I keep saying the same shit over and over?
You good?
So Joe, what's in the agenda this week? What are we talking about? Are you frozen? I think he's frozen. Anyway, so yeah, we're going to talk about glassware this week, and we're going to talk about beer temperature. This is basically what is it? Jesus Christ, I'm blanking out. Joe, talk.
Okay, well,
there you go.
I'm back after losing the call. What we're doing, hold on, is...
Don't talk too fast.
I know. Jesus Christ. Fuck, I lost... I got it.
Chad can't see, and he goes faster than you, buddy.
Shut up. So, we're going to talk about glassware. Does proper glassware and proper temperature for beer really matter? And to what extent do we think they matter? Then talk about glasses that we use a lot, glasses we like, glasses we don't really like, and maybe a little bit about our own personal glass collections. Then we're going to be reviewing Victory's Prima Pills. And then we're going to finish up talking about breweries and bars suggesting glassware and temperature for different beers.
Nice. So yes, basically we should have called this show the Ewart Special. Yeah. So let's kick it off. Normal Joe, not average Joe. Kick it off. What you lead off, and then we'll follow the lead from there.
Okay. So, glassware. This is what I'm currently.
It's called a glass.
It's a glass. This is what I'm currently drinking out of. If I were home and had my full collection.
Hashtag proper glassware.
Hashtag proper glassware. I would probably be drinking out of like one of my snifters or something like that, but I'm kind of like using what I have. The other day when I reviewed Santa Claus, I used an old-fashioned glass or a rocks glass, and I thought that was more. It was, to me, it seemed more fitting than using like a brandy snifter. I can't talk. I don't know. It just seemed to fit the beer better than what I would have typically reviewed in, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, Santa Claus is very liquor-like, almost like a liqueur, not liquor, so it kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
But I mean, like in your eyes, like the core of the question, not to like jump to the whole thing. Does glassware matter? Like what do you like expand on that? Like does it matter?
I feel like there's almost two sides. Like it does, and then at the same time, it's situational. Like it are you gonna want a fancy glass if you're like sitting watching something, like you're at like a ball game or something? Are you going to want something in a fancy glass? Like, no, I think it's going to be a little bit more fitting, and situationally, it'll feel better in like something that's not super fancy, as opposed to if you're sitting around in a group of friends and you're drinking bigger beer out of like a tulip or something, you know.
And that's the weird thing is just that you talked about it like a sporting event. Like I understand it's no way it could ever happen. You could have like them serving like beers in the glass tulip. But if I went to a freaking NFL game and I asked for a decent beer and they gave me a glass tulip full of beer, I would fucking go dance for like 9 minutes.
Yeah.
Just I don't know why. So you're saying it's basically a situational thing. That's something that you're
that's
like
kind of
it's.
how
I'm going to go, I mean, for me, glassware is absolutely important, but at the same time, I don't think as important as people make it out to be a lot of times.
Yeah.
The whole proper glassware, like, and joked about the hashtag proper glassware thing, I think is a little bit overblown. Like, to me, like, a bulk of my reviews, I use my gigantic Duvel glass. Like, this is all I need for almost every beer I ever drink. Like, I drink out of different glasses, but I don't think, like, you know, some people are very, you drinking this beer, it has to be out of this exact specific glass.
Yeah.
I don't abide by that shit. I don't believe in that. But at the same time, if someone gives me a shaker, I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? I mean, granted, if I went to a bar and they said $5 for a pint of fucking Bourbon County Stout in a shaker, I'd go, yes. Just because I'm getting fucking, 16 ounces of Bourbon County, it has nothing to do with the glass. But it's also like, to me, I don't know if this makes any sense. Well, it does, because you guys drink beer. How the glass feels, and I don't know if that it comes across the right way. Like some glasses just don't feel like the thickness or whatever. Sometimes they're too thick, sometimes they're too thin.
Right. I know.
And it's not like they could be two exactly the same shaped glasses. It's just one is just made a specific kind of way, and it kind of just works for me. So when it comes down to the core question, does it matter? I say yes, but I'm not that person that's like, double IPAs have to be in this glass, or you're not drinking an Imperial Stout out of this specific glass, then you're not qualified or whatever to fucking talk about the beer. I just don't abide by that shit.
Yeah, I would agree with that as well.
What do you think about average Joe?
Yeah, I'm pretty much with you. It matters to a point. People do take it a bit seriously. I'm the guy that's like, hey, as long as it's in a glass, that is where you start. And then from that point, you can go forward. The whole hashtag proper glassware thing, though, it's like, I think it started more of like hashtag proper glassware as in, I got a wheat beer in a wheat glass, oh my god, but I'm never going to wash it because it's fucking ridiculously hard to wash, right?
So, yeah, you can't stick your hand inside, like, you can't get into it.
Or, hey guys, I'm drinking a Pilsner in this awesome Pilsner glass that's totally unnecessary. Like that type of, but a lot of people have went to kind of how I do it, and I mentioned this to Matt before. The whole hashtag proper glassware for me is more branded glasses with whatever your beer you're drinking. So for instance, because I'm a stupid beer nerd, I have Victory Gold Monkey. Now, it's not going to be Prima Pills, but it's still a Victory glass. So, like, I like pouring whatever beer I'm having into brandy. Does it make it taste better? No. Does it really do anything for what I'm drinking? No, but it's just cool. And if you take a picture and throw it on Instagram or on Tapped or whatever, it looks kind of better than throwing in just like a regular old glass. That's me personally. But as far as like the actual proper hashtag proper glassware thing goes, at this point in time, there's so many different styles of glasses that it really doesn't matter at this point. It really doesn't. Like, if someone gives me, I'll give it. You were talking about how the glass feels, Matt.
Yeah.
Give me an example of one glass that I don't even want to own, but I still do, and I'm feeling like I should either break it or just give it to someone. The Dogfish Head Sierra Nevada whole IPA glass that looks like
yeah.
That thing is crystal, and it's so thin. Like, I'm washing it, and I'm like, I'm going to break it. I'm just going to snap it. I'm going to crush it in my bare hands. And I've used it like twice over the last year. Why? Because when I do wash it, I feel like I'm going to break it. And then when I'm drinking out of it, I'm like, this is so gimmicky and stupid, I don't even want to drink out of it.
I think we all have that fucking glass, man. Like, for example, I'm holding this. This is just a muddy, you know what I mean, goblet or whatever. Like, I don't even know if you can hear it, but if I tap it, like, it's decent. It's nice and thick. I don't know if you can hear how it sounds. Now, I have almost literally the same exact glass shape. It's a Trogs one. You can actually see how much thinner the glass is actually on the eye can. Like, it's not even reflecting as much light. And if you tap it, it's like got a totally different sound. Like this, I don't even like every time same thing. I wash it. I'm like, oh, my hands are inside. I'm gonna lose a fucking finger.
Is that the Mad Elf glass that you broke?
No, I don't know. This is just a base Trogs one. I picked it up just because I was at Trogs, but when I picked it up, I was like, I shouldn't buy this. And I go, well, it's the only glass I want from here, so I might as well fucking buy it.
The one that has Mad Elf on it is like that thin as well.
I have it too. It's like I'm washing it and I gotta be extra careful. But I'm being extra careful. It's like I'm almost gonna drop it. So it's like either I crush it in my hands or I drop it. What's it gonna be? It's gonna break at some point. But I have a glass like that from Bellwoods that you're saying, the real thick one. Now this is a super huge thick snifter. The shit looks like it's like 4 inches thick of glass all around. I feel like I could just knock people out with it, just randomly, boom, and then drink my beer, right? Like it's I don't know how breweries like choose, but I prefer them, be a bit thicker. I mean, I don't want to feel like I'm drinking something and I could just break it.
Yeah. No, as far as labeling goes, see, like you're like, and I get it, like putting the beer in the glass. I've done that before. In a perfect world, if I could pay somebody like $20 to come over to my house and strip every label off of all my glasses, I would do that. Like I like it when there's no, like when I take pictures, I angle the label so you can't see it, like it's on a hard angle. So I don't know why. I just like it when there's nothing on there. You know what I mean? I don't know what it does. In my brain, that just makes more sense for me.
It was funny. I was the opposite. Oh, go ahead, Joe.
When I started reviewing, like if I could do, a Trogs beer in one of the Trogs glasses that I had, I would do that. But like then the same thing with Matt, I would, even on the review itself, I would like angle, if it was a different company glass, I would angle the label, say the label was here, I would have this side facing me so that it wouldn't pick up on camera that it was like not the beer it's not the brewery that I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That makes sense to me. Yeah, if you're drinking it and it's not the same brewery, yeah, I would. I was kind of the same way. Like all my when I first started getting into craft beer, I bought like all my glassware from like the dollar stores, right? So I'd get like $1 snifter, $1 tulip, blah blah blah, and it didn't, all not branded. And then for some reason, I just all of a sudden was like, oh, I actually like the branded glassware to a point. Now at this point, I'm really picky. If I don't think it looks cool, I don't pick. Like I would be picking up like Founders pint glasses, like shakers. I'd be like, oh, I can pair with all the Founders beers. I'm like, and I realized like 2 weeks later, I'm like, dude, I don't want to drink anything out of a fucking pint glass. Like I just don't. For me, I don't want to do it. So that was a waste of money. So now I just like anything that looks cool, and if it's of a breweries that I can either get or I know I have in my cellar, or I know I'm gonna drink at some point, I'll pick them up and drink right out of them with whatever beer I have on hand.
Nice. So do you guys have like a total favorite like glass? Like, is there one that you guys go back to like time after time or anything like that?
For me, probably the Maudit snifter, and then I have these two just plain snifters that are kind of similar to the Maudit ones, but there's just nothing on it, and that's pretty much when I'm home and I grab something to drink. That's the glass that I gravitate towards.
How about you, Average Joe?
I have quite a few that I'll use, but not really any that I go right for. Like I said, I've got like a Lost Abbey and a Firestone Walker Teku, the first two Tekus I have. So I'll drink Firestone Walker stuff, West Coast stuff out of those. I have a big Gesture King wine glass, like an oversized, like 20-ounce wine glass that I just feel like I could just start beating people down with. But I like drinking out of it, but only if I've got like a bomber. Like I'm not putting a 12-ounce and like there's, I pour 6 ounces in and I'm like trying to like get my whole head in there to sip it. But Bellwoods makes really nice glasses, like the aforementioned their tulip with just a bell on there. That's really nice and, like I said, real thick and sturdy. Then they have this wine glass, a smaller wine glass that had the bells all around it, and there's a big chip in it because Ewert's a dick. And then they just released Motley Crue, which is their sour anniversary beer, and they made this cool. It's not a Teku, but it's like a wine glass, like kind of almost shaped like it, and it's really cool. There's a skeleton on the actual like front of it, and his hands wrap all the way around and grab the bell that is their logo. That
sounds cool.
And
that's really cool.
It's like I drank out of it like twice, and I'm just like, I don't even know if I drink out of it. It's so cool. But, at this point, those are kind of my favorites. Like I mentioned to you before, Matt, like I'm a big Teku guy. Not because I think it promotes anything more than like a snifter or tulip does. I just like the look of them, but I don't like non-branded ones because I think they look so plain. Because usually they're just the way they're shaped, they look bigger than like a normal glass for some reason. They got the big wide bottom and they go up, and I'm just looking at like a plain one and I'm like, God, that looks stupid. But then if I get one that has like some kind of branding on it, like the Lost Abbey one's logo's awesome, I'm like, that looks cool. At the end of the day, it really doesn't matter. But for me, it kind of does. You ask like, would you like holding or drinking out of? Branded Tekus are kind of where I go.
See, my only issue with Teku, like I could care less. I own 2 of them. I own a cane one, I own a carton one, and they're both they're the same. The Tekus are the same. Like, it's weird. Like, snifters kind of vary from company to company. You get different ones. There's a slight different curvatures and all that. It seems like the Tekus all come from the same fucking plant, and it's processed by the same place. And
they do seem very similar.
And my problem is, it seems like every Teku I've drank out of, and especially the ones that I own, are too small. You start to pour it in, you're like, okay, there's some room, and it fills up fast because it tapers inward, and then you fit like not even half a beer in it. That's what I get. That's a feeling I get from it, even though it's not true. But with the head builds quick on it.
You should see one that I got from where the fuck Prairie.
Big.
They got a mini Teku. They got a mini Teku.
Oh, mini one?
It's like 8 or 10 ounces, and like you pour it in there, and you're just like, no, I don't even want to drink it. Like it's cool and all, but like I understand what you're saying with Teku. I do get somehow though in a lot of respects, even if you pour it the right way, I feel like sometimes Tekus just give like huge heads. Like they just I don't know the how it's really crazy. But the mini one from Prairie, like there has to be oversized ones too, but I don't think I've seen any.
Yeah, when they come out with an oversized one, I think I'm going to jump right on it, because I do like them. You could chill them, but I'm not going to go through that fucking extent to fucking pour a fucking beer. Do you know what I mean?
No. We're not Buffalo Wild Wings.
No. Well, the Sabatini is the place that I go to all day now, and they have like that fast wash system. They were like it washes the glass, but also chills it like that. They just push it down in a grate, and it's like. So that works pretty fucking good. But anyway, I'll just install one of those in my house or my car, or maybe I don't know, somewhere, some portable device that rotates around me at all times. So yeah, I mean, instead of cusp as it is, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, glassware, fucking, you want it. Do you know what I mean? Like, perfect example. Like, not to, because I just feel like talking about it. I sent Joe a video. Did you get the video? Or did you just comment to my comment? Did you watch that video I sent you, regular Joe?
The beer.
The Beer Buzz one.
I think I did
Because he commented like you were commenting on my comment, not the video I sent you.
No,
anyway,
it was I was commenting on what you said about the video.
I got you. Anyway, regardless.
It was.
It's like basically there's a local guy who does like beer news. It actually has nothing to do with beer reviews or anything like that. It's just like a guy who like says like if someone comes out with a bottle of beer, he tweets it. That's all he does. And like I never watched the show, but it was on when I was at work and someone brought it up, and it was basically they're talking about just Sabatinis or something like that. And he was just basically randomly went into like how people who judge beer are fucking embarrassing or something like that. But it was like literally that's what he said. I'll text you the video, Joe. Average Joe.
And he's leaving that. I'm just see you later. Bye.
Yeah, but he was like the video, and he's like, oh, because they were going over KBS. He's like, this is one of the most sought after beers in the world. He's like, not that I into grading beers. People who that grade beers, especially in numbers, is just that's silly, and honestly, it's quite embarrassing. That's literally the verbatim what he said. But then he pans down to him drinking KBS out of a plastic Solo cup.
Because he's cool. He's just really awesome.
And it's just like yeah. So I mean, and that's fine. Like I've drank beer out of fucking plastic before. I could give a shit, but like you're gonna like not give a shit that much. Like I don't know. I just felt like ranting on it. No,
I feel like this guy. I don't know him, but I feel like he's in the same league as like Chip the beer guy. And
no, I disagree wholeheartedly.
Who's Chip the beer guy?
I don't know.
Chip the beer guys, Joe's talking about local stuff because it's local to us, or regular Joe, not average Joe. Even though they're very they're synonyms. He's talking about there's two guys. There's like this one guy that basically just tweets information. He doesn't talk about anything. He makes a blurb every now and then, but it's basically like Firestone Walker says they're gonna release Sukabi. He basically retweets all this stuff, and that's his thing. And there's this Chip the beer guy who basically does like you want to learn about beer? I'm going to hold a beer skull at this bar, but it's very like the guy who retweets stuff is very like like skinny 50-year-old like white Republican. I'm very wealthy, but Chip is more like I like bratwurst and pilsners, and then like big beers scare me. That's kind of like the vibe I get from him.
What I was talking about was like the similarities of the two of like just kind of. I mean, that I cannot stand Chip the beer guy.
Yeah, but it's your personal thing.
But that was more of what he did to me personally. But Yeah.
And anyway, we're getting off topic.
Well,
go ahead, Joe.
Just for a second, because that's what we should do all the time. What you're talking about, that beer buzz guy, is kind of the thing that's been happening the last couple of years, where now like everybody seemingly went through the whole I'm going to grade it and I got to really pick it apart, and now because they're too cool, now it's like just drink it out of a red Solo cup and do this and do that because I'm too good to grade it. And if you grade it, you're too nerdy or you're, as you said, embarrassing, right? It was very akin to another. I don't want to get you in trouble with like another beer tuber, but like they're not really beer tubers. Called Just Keep Tasting. And they started their, I want to say about maybe like a year and a half ago, where all they did was take whales and chug them. That's all they would say. They have Bourbon County, put the straw in, chug it. And their whole moniker at the end was Just Keep Tasting. They would go to these crazy bottle releases and be in line and chug these, like, here's King Henry from Goose Island that you can no longer get. It's 5 years later, we chugged it. Just keep tasting. It was like they were like kind of just making fun of other beer tubers and beer reviewers just because they think it's ridiculous that people actually are on YouTube reviewing beer. And it was like, look at what I can do. And it's like at some point it's like you're just being stupid.
Yeah, but at the same time too, it's like, are those people actually into beer? Like, do they give a shit? Like, that's my point. Like with this guy, like being all about beer, like his shit is all about beer. To be like to not judge a beer to me is kind of weird. Like, I'm not saying enjoy a beer, but at the same time, judging a beer or talking about a beer or saying if a beer is good or bad, not necessarily using the word judge because it's kind of harsh, is more like you're not saying fuck this place or fuck this. You're trying to just give people a little bit of cliff notes. Do you know what I mean on what's going on, and to say, it's dumb if you tell people something. Basically, he said it's dumb if you tell people something's good or bad. Yeah, that's basically, and I think that's just retarded.
Wasn't that?
Yeah.
I mean,
or embarrassing. Sorry, no,
Yeah,
it's embarrassing actually. Sorry, now retarded, embarrassing.
But like, if you're with friends, isn't that kind of the point? Like when you bring up a subject and you're like, if someone's like, "Hey, Sukaba," and you're just like, I have no opinion. I drink it out of a red solo cup. Like, you want to have a discussion with people, and you want to tell them if it's good or not. And you want to discuss like the different qualities of stuff. So I don't know. If you're doing a fucking article like that, I don't know. That guy just.
Well, it's a live show. It's like a half-an-hour show on a radio station, and what it was basically, and that's why I think it's like odd in that it's a show about beer, and you're basically telling people that all beer is just enjoyable, so just enjoy it. So why have a show about beer?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, why even?
It was a like, what does it matter? Just drink it.
Yeah.
Kind of vibe.
Then why are you even talking about beer? Like, they're just every beer's the same. Just enjoy them. They're all the same. Might as
all
well
the ingredients. Right? Yeah, all the beers, same ingredients will taste exactly the same. We learned that I think on Wednesday.
Yeah, 93 garbage.
Yeah, 93 garbage.
And it actually, before, I'm going to totally jump the shark here because this happened last night, and I totally spaced on it until like right now. But this, I think, is going to be some juicy conversation. So it has nothing to do with glassware. I'm sorry, regular Joe. So
that's fine. I like this. This is. We need this.
If you ever watched, this is actually really good shit. Actually, if you ever watched any of my my intro reviews, which are horrible, or watched a bulk of my reviews, I'll reference somebody, the guy who got me into beer. His name's Ian Hunter. So pretty much the guy who got me into beer. We talked about, like, he's the one who kind of, I don't want to say mentored me into beer, but pretty much, and like kind of told me, basically what happened was I had a couple good beers. I went to his beer bar. He basically said, hey, if you want to know everything about beer, I'll tell you. And he literally, like, he's forgotten more about beer than I'll ever know. And he's always been kind of in the beer scene, not as somebody that puts himself out there. He's very, very discreet, very, you know, he was a bartender, but didn't put himself out there as far as anything. And we're also talking 20, 15 years ago when the internet didn't exist, or wasn't whatever. But, you know, he's ran in circles. You know, he's hung out with multiple times with Michael Jackson and stuff like that. And just, like, never, you know, didn't work at a brewery, just was all about beer. Anyway, yesterday he posted a beer. He's very, very, I don't want to say gentle, but he doesn't go out his way to trash shit. You know what I mean? And he wrote on Facebook yesterday, he's like, it's amazing that he's talking about Coppertail Brewing Company on Holy Triple. It's out of Florida. He says, it's amazing somebody tasted these beers before they were sold to the public and said, yeah, this is the beer we want to sell. Not if anyone else out there, I don't know if anyone else out there has had these, but I had a triple and a porter, and both have very metallic flavor and a finish. He's like, I think they need to find different water. Basically, that's the comment, verbatim, what he wrote. So, lo and behold, an hour or so later, Garrett Oliver jumps on there and starts ripping him about saying what he said. Basically, what happened was, let's see if I can find the first quote by Garrett. It's everybody going back and forth like, oh, really, was that bad? And in the first comment from Garrett is, I must say, Ian, he's like, that seems somewhat churlish, which means, you know, fucking childish and hateful, that to attack a brewer in public in such a fashion. I haven't had the beer, but the brewmaster at Coppertail is a seasoned professional. He should always just tap a guy on the shoulder, you know, geez. And then he goes, you know, he's like, I'm just posting a comment amongst friends. And it's a closed Facebook thing. You know, it's not like he's like open to the public. Yeah. He's like, and asked if anybody else tried their beers and picked them up and picked up the same flavors I did. And he says, no, Ian, what you said is it's amazing that somebody tasted these beers before they were sold to the public and said, yeah, this beer is the beer they want to sell. That is not the community we spent 30 years building. My comment stands. And he continues, like another comment. I'm not going to read them all because there's that many. You know what I mean? And basically what he did was he went after him for having an opinion. You know what I mean? And a valid opinion. It's not like he said, man, this brewery sucks ass. This beer, don't fucking buy it. He's like, why would this new brewery put out these beers when I get these weird tastes? Who else has had it? Like, yeah, that's fucked up, right?
That was basically, has anyone experienced this same thing that I am picking up? Perhaps it's some kind of flaw. I don't know. Why would this have passed any kind of QA? You know? That's what I'm getting out of this original statement. You know?
Yeah, I guess Garrett Oliver should, make a little hit list real quick and attack all beer tubers. Anybody on Untapped every person that posts a review on Beer Advocate, anyone that posts a review on Rate Beer, anyone that posts a review on a blog, just you're not allowed to have opinion or even and he said if it's out there for the public to consume. If this is a brewery where you can go and take home a growler and drink it, or you can buy cans or bottles, then you're allowed to form opinion on the internet wherever the hell you want, because that's how this works.
And I get and I get the whole, like, if you're a head brewmaster at a beer company, don't throw this shit out on Facebook and trash your fellow brewmaster. Like, I get that thing. The whole, like, pat on the back, like, hey,
like,
your beer kind of sucks, you should fix it. You're talking about a consumer, somebody who's not, like, really in the brewing industry. Someone almost the same as you and me, like, it just doesn't make sense. To me, it reeks of somebody was drunk and started writing shit.
Yeah. I mean, like...
I mean, we've all been there.
If you want beer to be looked at as an art form, like beer and brewing, it should be open to critique. Like, if something is wrong, you should be allowed to say, hey, something is wrong, whether it's to a private group, to even the public. Like, I reviewed a Railway City beer and said, this smells and tastes like vinegar. Something's wrong.
Yeah, that... Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, you go.
No, you go. I said you go.
Okay.
I don't even know what to say.
No, I was going to basically just say, to me, I don't know if he was tipsy at the time or he just had his wife cheated on him. I don't know. It's a weird thing because I've heard Garrett, I've read him, I've listened to him talk. It just seems out of context. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. From what I've heard and read. So I'm almost want to give him the benefit of the doubt because it seems like, okay, we all have weird days. I've said dumb shit. We've all said dumb shit. We've all been in things. I don't know if it was wrong place or wrong place, right time, wrong place, depending on what avenue you want to come from it. But it just seemed weird to me. And I totally spaced on it until right now. I'm like, wait a minute, this is a great fucking topic. Anyway, Go ahead, Joe.
What sounds weird about it is the fact that, like you say, it does sound out of character for Garrett Oliver. From everything that I've gathered, it does sound out of character for him. But it's like, it's so ridiculous. I think it's one of those things where it's like a fellow brewmaster, fellow whatever, head brewer, fellow just, in the industry, kind of protecting maybe one of his friends or maybe someone he respects or whatever. And I see that side of it. I mean, I don't agree with it, but I see where he would kind of go in there and protect him. But at the end of the day, when you're talking about anything in relation to the beer world at this point in time, with so many open forums to publicly discuss and critique beer, it seems really out of place to like pick one comment where a guy says, hey, beer doesn't taste great. There's metallic taste here. Might be the water. Did they even test it? He was probably maybe a little upset at the same time, like, hey, man, I'm drinking these beers and I don't really like them. Maybe they should, and it's just his opinion. Maybe he's wrong. Maybe there's 1,000 other people that don't get that. So maybe he's in the minority. Maybe his palate was screwed up. Maybe, whatever the case may be. But he's allowed to have that opinion.
There's certain thresholds for picking up flavor. So maybe all of us wouldn't pick it up, and we're not in that particular threshold of picking up a metallic flavor, but he is,
And Joe became a robot.
And who's to say? Yeah, and who's to say at the same time too? I went to that fest yesterday, and about 12-15 in, my palate shot. I can't give stuff fair reviews either.
Yeah,
years beforehand. Who knows?
Yeah, I was at when I was at the bar today, I got a sour. And a brewery sour and a rye, and my buddy showed up, and he's like, oh, he's got a taco, Philly taco something from fucking whatever. And he's like, try it. He's like, what do you think? I was like, I have no idea. I'm drinking a sour. I'm like, I can't judge this beer right now. I'm like, it tastes good, but I have no fucking clue. You know what I mean?
My tongue is numb. I can't. Yeah. There's a lot of factors that go into it. I mean, it's I don't know. We don't know the entire story, but it just seems very
Yeah, it seems out of character, but at the same time, it seems douchey, but not douchey because you could kind of give somebody a benefit of the doubt. I don't know. It's just a weird thing, and I was just like, okay, that's weird, you know. And then he stopped commenting. He hasn't commented today.
Yeah.
And then my buddy Ian posted a thing about today, just as a joke, kind of like this morning woke up and he posted something. He'd be like, I ate at Bobby Flay's restaurant in New York 2 years ago, and I said it was mediocre, and it hasn't hurt him all that much. You know what I mean? And I didn't comment on the beer one because I was like, okay, I'm just gonna fucking watch this and eat some popcorn. But on the Bobby Flay one, I wrote, I wish it did hurt Bobby Flay. You know, and I was like, I wish it did. The world would be a much better place if it did hurt Bobby Flay. But because who likes annoying gingers? I mean, it is what it is.
Next thing you know, Pizza Boy's going to jump in there and go, we need to justify our $25 prices at Wegmans. Be like, well, it's not even the same conversation, buddies.
Yeah.
All the defending nowadays, there's so many interesting things that are happening on social media between all these breweries, and a lot of times they shouldn't just even comment, is what it comes down to.
Yeah, it should literally be that 1 minute segment on Anchorman where it's like, okay, champ, you should sit this one out. Like, take a time out, just sit by yourself, and then come back later. It should be that. Like I listen to ESPN radio all the time, and if you watch ESPN or SportsCenter or ESPN radio, not so much anymore, but about a year and a half ago, Herm Edwards' his big thing was don't click send. You know what I mean? Think about what you want to say. Don't click send. Just wait an hour, then click send. Just don't click send. You know what I mean? Just keep it to yourself for a bit, and then if you wake up the next morning and you think the same way, I mean, that could work in beer, it could work in dating, it could work in booty calls, it could whatever the fuck you want to call it. Don't click send. Please, everybody. Unless you're sending shit to me, then click send, because I want to see embarrassing shit. But anyway.
All I hear in my mind is, you play to win the game. Hello?
Yeah. Oh, Herm. So, not to just quick for my own personal preference. Joe, what do you think about the Buffalo Bills this year? Nope.
I'm a Seahawks fan. So.
Oh, I thought you were a Buffalo fan.
I'm a Sabres fan. I do want them to do well. I think they don't have a quarterback, so they're probably going to go 9-7 again. Their defense is awesome. They have playmakers, but
you're a Seahawks fan. Is your ass hurt from landing on the bandwagon really hard, or did you bring a cushion with you?
No, I've been a Seahawks fan since Joey Galloway in '94, and then he fucking forces a trade in Dallas, and I'm like, I'm still gonna like the Seahawks. I don't care.
Fair enough. I was just busting your chops there, buddy.
Yeah, I liked how they lost the Super Bowl. That was a lot of fun to the most fucking piece of shit team ever known to man. Great times. I liked it. So.
Pennsylvania, baby. Oh, you're talking about Patriots. I thought you were talking about the Steelers Super Bowl.
Yeah. No, fuck them too. Damn it.
The Patriots do suck. They're the worst. I'm a Dolphins fan, so I agree with you.
Oh yeah, that's every time. Hope Brady gets suspended. Hopefully Goodell doesn't go. Oh, he got no games.
No, he will not win his appeal in any form or fashion. I don't think he can. I don't think because. And this is honestly, we're totally jumping the shark now because we're talking about sports. But,
I apologize, Joe.
and this is the sole reason, and bash me for whatever you want, but just from a harmonic standpoint for the players, they can't because not to bring it to a racial thing. Do you know what I mean? If they suspend Brady, and then unsuspend him. And he's the token white superstar. You know what I mean? That's not going to go over well. You know what I mean? Just from that alone, they can't do it. I don't think.
Not after all the Ray Rice stuff last year. I mean, I know that's domestic violence, but it's they've started to set precedents. Alden Smith from the 49ers got suspended 10, 12 games. It's he only got 4 too, and they're known cheaters. Multiple times. Yeah. Not specifically Brady before. You can't say he was a known cheater, but now he's a known cheater. And Belichick and I'm sure everyone else who's associated with him, they've cheated in the past. I don't understand what's the problem. It's stupid. It shouldn't even be appealed.
Yeah, I thought it should have been suspended for 3 seasons, to be perfectly honest with you. But that's just me, anyway.
Just get suspended for the rest of his life. Give up his trophy wife and his entire life.
Yeah, it would suck. He'd have to sit home, make money, and have sex with the hottest model on the face planet. It gotta suck to be him. And where
I hate Tom Brady. I hate Tom Brady.
He does have to wear Uggs though.
That's true.
That,
and he gets paid to wear
them.
He gets paid to wear them. I don't know how much, but he gets paid a significant
amount
to wear Uggs.
I don't know if I could get paid to wear Uggs.
It depends. You give me like $1 million, I'll wear the shit out of some Uggs.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna wear some Uggs and drink some I don't know, some shitty beer that people think is good. Anyway, you guys feel like doing a beer review of a Pilsner?
Not your father's
beer.
Yeah,
let's do that. So I'm gonna use the breakable glass for the pills.
Oh.
So we're gonna be reviewing Victory Brewing's Prima pills. I've never actually had this before.
Same here.
I did a whole Pilsner thing a couple of years ago. This was the one I did not pick up. I picked up like Trobes and all like American ones to see how they compared, and this is the only one I didn't grab. So.
Yeah. I did have a Pilsner today though, so yeah. I had we did Oscar Blues. They did their Czech pills, the Mama's Little Yellow pills or whatever.
Oh, I like that. That one's pretty good.
That's one of the better ones I've had, American ones for sure.
Yeah. Damn, that's clear. Yeah. It's like a magnifying glass. Yeah, it is. Like, you could literally, old people, if you need to read, buy fucking Prima pills.
Yeah, really.
It's a Pilsner color and it's white. There you go. That's my Pilsner.
It's cheaper than the glasses at like fucking Walgreens for like $5. And let's buy Prima pills. It's $1.79.
You just hold a bottle in front of your paper like, what's that? I can read that. Everything looks yellow. That's your jaundice, Mary. Anyway, let's say this. This is my expert opinion right now. It looks like a Pilsner.
It does. It looks very much like a Pilsner.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't.
It's a Pilsner. Let's see what kind of nose this sucker has, baby.
Yeah. Ooh.
The ever so slightest bit of a sweet malt. That's all I get from it.
Yeah.
Now, here, let me ask you guys a question. Because, I mean, with a lot of the American ones, but just Pilsner in general, how fresh is yours? Because there's no bottling date on mine. I could not find a bottling date anywhere.
Joe, did you get yours at Premier Gourmet?
I did.
Okay. Look underneath the 12 fluid ounces. There's on mine, there's an enjoy by date on the label itself.
Okay, enjoy by 17 August 2015. So it's
we have the same bottle.
Mine I
cool,
can't.
Matt.
Yeah, mine I can't read because Wegmans puts a sticker right below it, so I could see enjoy by. I ripped it off. I could see enjoy by. I could see 2015. I could see a 6 in there somewhere. I think I hear a 9er. Maybe, but yeah. But so I mean, it's it is what it is. So
I'm getting a little bit more than the malt, though. I'm getting like a nice spiciness from the German hop. I think they're
I'm getting a little bit of that as well. It's mostly that like really really slight sweet malty character.
Yeah, it sounds stupid, but like it almost smells like it's gonna be straight up crisp. Like it just has that.
Oh, absolutely.
Just the smell of. There's not a whole lot going on though. A little bit of spiciness, the sweet malt.
Yeah, that's about it. Cheers, gentlemen.
Beer.
I'm ready, baby. Mine's just falling flat. The same thing I got in the nose. The ever so slightest bit of sweet malt, and then other than that, actually nice mouthfeel for a Pilsner. But
yeah, it does have it's got a nice breadiness to it. That sweet malt, little hop spiciness, but
yeah, you know what? Yeah, a little bit of hops there, but
it's crazy because the mouthfeel, it's almost creamy in a way, but it's it's a little bit more viscous too. Like I would say for a 5.3% Pilsner, it drinks like it's a fucking 6 or 7% like IPA or something.
Or even like to me, it like feels like a unfiltered wheat that looks filtered. Like it kind of has a nice creaminess to it, baby, or fluffiness, baby.
I don't know the taste. I kind of not really getting the spiciness as much as just sweet malt.
Yeah,
sweet body malt. I'm sorry.
Sweet malt. There's no hot bite there, baby. A little bit of hot bite, but that's about it. I don't know what it's saying, baby. We had a total drunk guy call on the air today in that radio show thing. It's the first time. I don't even know the last time I had a phone call in, but they're like, all of a sudden it was like, somebody wants to call in. It was some guy saying, Happy Father's Day, while driving 80 down a highway, and then hung up. Anyway, rating-wise...
The only way that he says Happy Father's Day.
Yeah, Happy
Every
Father's
year,
Day.
Calls into some random radio station.
That's all that dude did all day was call in radio station going, Happy Father's Day.
His father's out there somewhere.
There's not much to say about this beer, but the thing is, what it does have, endearing-wise, is it's crushable. Like, I could drink 17 of these at a barbecue and still hold a conversation. That's probably its most redeeming quality.
Yeah, I mean, this is probably one of the best examples of a Pilsner that I've ever had. I mean, like, I know just from school I did an entire BJCP
course. Here we go.
So I go, this is not the first time that I've done this, so shut the fuck up.
Boy.
But yeah, like, this is honestly on the, like, every BJCP style has a list of commercial examples, and for German Pilsner, this is number one.
Really?
Like, yeah.
Wow. Definitely German. Not a Czech Pilsner, not like,
No,
you know what I mean?
it's a German Pilsner.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's a Pilsner. That's my assessment.
I'm getting a little bit like graininess, sweet bready malt. The sweetness is just, you know, the malt sweetness is very, very high. But yeah, I like it. I just wish there's a little bit more of the hop, like a little bit more spiciness or something.
Yeah,
or like a defining hop character, not like a generic, like a little bit of bitterness there. You want something from it, whether it be citrus or pine or mango or whatever the fuck you want, just some kind of redeeming quality.
I'm getting a very small, modest, ever so modest, like lemon citrus quality, but it's like, if I'm not sitting there going, oh, where is it, I couldn't tell you. It's just very sweet bready and just crushable. But yeah, I mean, full disclosure, Pilsner is probably, for me, one of my bottom three styles.
Bottom of the bottom.
Yeah. Not a fan of them.
I mean, like, lagers in general are just typically something I don't even bother with, you know?
Unless it's like a new school, kind of like Doppelbock or something like from Jack's Abbey, like an Imperial Lager or something like that.
Yeah, a Baltic Porter, a Doppelbock, something that's, or even like I've been a huge fan of like the IPLs, like the Jack's Abbey, the Caponius Union.
Their Jack's Abbey IPLs, fucking delicious.
Yeah, they're all three of them. They have Mass Rising, QB Rising, and Caponius Unions. Like, I will take any single one of them whenever you want to give them to me. They don't give me anything, so.
So rating-wise, I would give this a 78.
I would probably go about a B. I'd like a little bit more of the, like we were saying, a little bit more hop character out of it. Definitely like more like a spicier and earthy hop, not necessarily fruity or anything like that. But I think just upping that a little bit would be perfect.
I would totally agree. I'd give it like a lower B, like maybe like an 83, say. I will say, like, we don't know how old yours is, Matt. We know how old ours is, but I don't know what Victory does for this beer specifically. Is it 6 months out? Is it 9 months out? I mean, it's a Pilsner, so it's not like an IPA where even with a Pilsner, if it's 4 or 5 months old, if this was brewed, say, in early February or beginning of the year, maybe that's why the hop character has died off a little bit. I mean,
and I'll totally ask them, like, they're actually really good with that. I posted a review of their, it's their Weizenbach. I can't remember the name. Moonglow Weizenbach on YouTube, and they actually contacted me, and they're like, hey, just so you know, this is how long we date our beers, because it was an aged bottle, and I put it in the description, and I talked about how I know it's aged, and I want to try it, you know what I mean? So they went out of their way to contact me.
I just checked freshbeeronly.com, which is if you've never checked out freshbeeronly.com, if you're curious, you get an IPA and it doesn't have a bottling, or does have a bottle or Best By date instead of a bottled on date. They do a pretty good job, and on here they have Victory. It says they have an Enjoy By now directly on the bottle, and for Prima Pills it's 5 months. So ours is early mid-August. So, this was brewed in mid-March. So.
And that might be the difference, because like I said, I haven't enjoyed by. I see 2015, but I definitely see a 6 in there. It looks like 06 something 2015. So, I mean, I might be right on the cusp of that, where you guys are like 2 months ahead. You know what I mean? So that could totally be. And it makes sense, because you guys, I'm like, an hour away, and you guys are 5 hours away.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, you should get the. It comes down to like it's not a huge deal. We're barely getting anything more than you anyway.
Yeah.
Like it's
not like. Yeah.
It's
not like that's the quote of the year.
No, it's not like I'm doing the other reviews where I'm reviewing a 3-year-old beer and you're reviewing a fresh one.
I always like those because Joe's always like, oh, it's silky smooth. I'm getting no alcohol, and you're like, yeah, it's hot. It's real hot. Burning my mouth.
but we say multiple times that we have different bottles, so relax there, buddy.
I'm just saying, it's cool to see the discrepancy between the two, because it's like, it's cool. It's always cool that when you do like verticals and stuff and you see the difference as it goes year by year. But it's I don't know, what was it? Plead the fifth you guys had, was it? Was that like?
Yeah. It's actually a cool thing, because we tried to sync up beers with times, but then we decided to do different ages. But from hanging out with each other, it's like a women's period. Me and Joe's palate are kind of synced up a little bit.
Yeah.
So for us to drink different ages, I think we're giving a decent representation of what each other would have said whether we had that beer. So
analogies tonight you're on fire with, yes.
Yeah, well, that's. I bring out. It's all about the menstruation, baby. That's all I have to say.
It's all about that narwhal, barrel-aged narwhal you drank about 2 hours.
The bears can smell the menstruation. Anyway.
Okay.
What did you say about the barrel-aged narwhal?
I said, I think the barrel-aged narwhal is talking for you right now.
Oh yeah. No, it's not like the 17.
That, by the way?
Best Sierra Nevada beer I've ever had. Huge coconut, dude. Did you have it yet, Joe?
I got a bottle of it.
Most coconut I've ever got out of a beer in my life.
What?
Yeah.
I have to drink that.
Like I was at first I was like, damn, I'm like, what's going on? I didn't know if I was channeling you in some kind of weird like third person thing, but I was like, holy shit. And like in a review, I made a joke. I'm like, this is a toss-up. This or 27-year-old Bigfoot is my favorite Sierra Nevada beer, but it's totally it's my favorite Sierra Nevada beer I've ever had. Because Narwhal in general, baseline, is my favorite Sierra Nevada beer. So I assumed I was gonna like it.
I was gonna say that that's just regular Narwhal is already one of the best Sierra Nevada beers I've ever had.
Yeah, it was literally like, if I was going to break it down in my eyes, it was like 50% was vanilla and coconut and 50% was like 17 other things. It was super, there was so much shit going on. There was like bourbon, barrel char, fucking like a whole bunch of delicious awesomeness, but it was like literally vanilla and coconut up front. It's average Joe in a glass.
I'm glad I have this crisp, refreshing coconut.
Yeah, it's not like we could have reviewed a barrel-aged narwhal. It's not like they have them at Pure Gourmet or that Joe has one right now, I mean, why wouldn't we do that?
They have lines of fucking, I was in there yesterday, they have lines of just Bigfoot, barrel-aged Bigfoot stuff, and I'm just like, where's the narwhal?
That's not good. Yeah, because it's narwhal blows it away, that's why.
Yeah. I still regret...
They have barrel-aged, still have narwhal at Sabs.
Do they? How much is it, curious? Because
$22.95. No tax. No tax.
I fucked up big time about 3, 4, whenever that was released. I don't know, sometime earlier this year, late last year. I lose track. But Paul told me to pick one. Paul P. Brutus. He was like, pick one up, and I went to this health food store that was in Hamburg, New York, which is the southern suburb, like 40 minutes from where I live, 45 minutes. $15.99, no limit or anything. And I didn't pick any. I looked at it and I said, oh boy, do I want a lot of you. but I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. Paul yelled at me, and I'm like, you settle down, Paul. I'm like, I didn't get one. I'm like, you'll be able to find one somewhere, and he did. But for $15.99, I probably should have stocked up.
Well, he picked one up when I picked one up, I think, when we came back from Canada. I picked one up at, what was the place in Buffalo you told us to stop at? He said we weren't going to stop at, but we stopped at. Is a small place in
Batavia?
Batavia.
And
so,
Gotti's
like,
beverage.
Yeah, and Gotti's. And we were coming back, and up until that point, like, I was like, I'm not buying a narwhal. I'm not doing it because I don't want to pay $25 a bottle. I'm like, I just don't want to do it. I want to pay sub $20. And here's the kicker: is like, I don't want to pay $20, and I was like, oh, great, they got it for $19 and change. But then, no bottle deposit and tax in New York, I ended up paying like $22 and change for the bottle anyway. So I was like, oh, you should have just fucking bought it in Pennsylvania, asshole.
That's why for $15.99, I put $18 or so.
That's the good thing about Pennsylvania is that when you see if it says $19.95, you pay $19.95. That's exactly what you pay for.
Why did they just charge it $20 exactly? What is this 95 cents whole shit?
Yeah.
You gotta make it because $20 looks too much. $19.95.
Yeah, it's like classic Ron Popeil stuff. They're like, oh, you can get the fucking Ronco fucking rotisserie for $19.95.
Yeah,
not $20.
Three payments of $19.95.
Yeah. For $29.95, you get riveting internet radio with three guys babbling about prices. So yeah, we reviewed Pilsner. That was fantastic. We talked about glassware, whether it matters. We talked about our own glassware. I brought out my whole selection of glassware to do this whole thing about like all my glassware, but I'm going to do that now. So let's talk about people telling you. Oh, let's go over temperature. We actually haven't gone on over temperature. Let's do that.
We did not go over temperature, so let's...
Kick it off, Joe. Regular Joe, not average.
Regular Joe. Me. All right. I mean, I have... And this kind of diverts back into our aging beer discussion. I mean, anything... It's all about alcohol. All about ABV for me. If it's below 8%,
if it's below 8%, your internet freezes. Is that what you're trying to tell us?
I want it colder. And yes, actually, how fucked. Bringing another person onto the show fucking screws up my connection.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. It has nothing to do with it.
I'm Joe. You have the same thing.
I know. You would think it would make it better. But
it doesn't. It doesn't, buddy. It's Father's Day. Everybody's trying to Skype their dad. That's what it is.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point. But yeah, like things that I'll pull off my shelf, I would drink those at cellar temperature. My barley wines, imperial stouts, any of those things. I mean, the Prima Pils, just because I've had it sitting out here, so I don't have to get up and walk over to my fridge, was probably a little warmer than I would have liked it, but at the same time, it was fine. But typically, I don't mind like a cellar temperature, like 50 to 55 degrees, for any of my beer, really.
How about you, average Joe?
If I'm drinking a beer for the first time and I'm reviewing it on the YouTube channel that doesn't exist, what I like to do is I like it to be one of two ways. If I'm taking it fresh out of the fridge, I will drink on it for a good half an hour, 45 hours, and see how the temperature changes from, say, 40 to 45 Fahrenheit to 55 to 60 Fahrenheit over the course of an hour, to see the subtle changes. I always think that's cool. This is how it tastes cold. This is how it tastes, room temperature, relatively close. What do I prefer it at? And then if I ever drink that beer again, I kind of have an idea. Okay, I like it at 50. Just throw out an arbitrary number. Or I like to just take it out of the fridge and let it sit for about 45 minutes an hour, trying to get up to room temperature, and drink it that way, or just grab it right out of the cellar, whatever. I feel like I'm not really style dependent or ABV dependent or anything for me. It's all about, I think, like, I know people argue the whole, like, right, macros have to be drank ice cold. Why? because
they taste like shit.
You don't taste. And I can't even necessarily call them flaws because so many people say, "Hey, that's what they're made to be." Well, they're made like shit, and you got to make them cold, otherwise they taste like shit. When you get something down to a 40 degrees or whatever, fucking 4 Fahrenheit or Celsius, whatever, I can't do the Canadians are.
I'm in Canada and I don't know what the fuck Celsius is. So don't worry.
I think it's 61 gigawatts. I think that's actually what it is.
It's like the conversion rate for money. I don't know. It's a lot less. It's whatever. But the thing is like when you have something cold, you're muting the flavors. I don't care what the hell it is. Specifically beer, we're talking about, you're muting the flavors. So you're not going to get as many flavors. Whether they're shitty flavors or fucking fantastic flavors, you're still muting them. So I feel like if you're doing any kind of review or any kind of, you're trying to pick it apart at any point, you kind of owe it to yourself, and I think to anybody that watches it, to drink it at least relatively chilled at best, like just cool, not cold. Because you're going to get more flavors and you're going to be able to talk about it more. You're going to be able to break it down more, which is what people want to hear. Like, they want to hear the different characteristics of the beer. When you drink it cold, you should go, yeah, it's fucking good, and I can taste, like, I don't know, citrus. Well, great, that's great. Like, I understand that, but, if you're doing a review, whatever. If you drink a beer a second time, though, like, there's times I'll drink an IPA and I'll just be like, man, I just want a refreshing beer. And I'll fucking take it right out of the fridge, pour it, and drink it. Nothing wrong with that. But, like, if you're drinking it for the first time, I always want to kind of break it down and have an understanding of exactly what it tastes like. And I feel as it gets warmer, it obviously gets better. Now, I'm not like Paul from PA Brew News that likes to drink it at, like, boiling temperature. So,
well, when you live in a Cerebus dungeon, and you know what I mean, you have 3-headed beasts breathing fire under your death metal altar. Your beers are gonna get a little toasty.
I remember when we hung out last Labor Day, and we forgot some beers like out on his fucking picnic table, out on the deck, or out on his the front porch. Yeah. And he's like, I was like, you should probably chill that down since it was like 83 degrees and super humid. He's like, I'm gonna drink it. I'm like, I don't just want to drink like bath water. I'm really looking forward to that. Like, you should probably. I'm like, I don't even know if it's good at this point because you left it out overnight, but I don't even want to try it at that temperature. But yeah.
But to touch on your point, like, actually, it's funny because I said this last week. I don't know if I said it on the air or off the air. I think I said it on the air, but I really would like to do, like, if I had the time, I just don't have the time to do it, but I would like to break out, like, I have a little separate beer fridge, like, it's not even a refrigerator, it's like a beverage cooler, so I can regulate it to whatever I have, and I have like a thermometer inside of it, and I usually try to keep it nailed in depending on how the temperature is here, because Pennsylvania is humid and it sucks, and we already covered that. I try to keep it at 50. That's my wheelhouse for almost all beers. I want it at 50 because that way if I take a beer out, I can throw it in the fridge for 10 minutes and get a little bit colder, or I can take it out for 10 minutes, get a little bit warmer, I'm good. But in a perfect world, what I would do would review a beer at 50 or 40 or whatever, 45 or 50, review it, walk away for 20, 30 minutes, then come back to the beer. And then re-review it. Not re-review it, but just also bring up different tastes and flavors maybe like a half an hour later. And while recording it, and then be like, okay, I'm back. It's now been a half an hour. This is what I taste now, but I just don't have the time to do that. That's what I would love to do in the end.
You guys both touched on it. You and Joe both last week. You guys mentioned that.
Okay.
I feel it's there's some, like you mentioned Greg beer reviews, Joe. He does it.
Well, that's more like, I think his is more, I have now finished the beer, here's my full overall impression. You know, it's not so much like, here's how the beer has warmed up over the time that I've been sipping on it, you know?
Yeah, I'd like to try it, walk away, come back, or sip on it for a bit, then walk away, and then come back to it and see what kind of impact it brings, you know?
Yeah. You know what you could do, Matt, and I'm not going to name any names, we're just going to throw it out there. You could, sip on it for like a half an hour, 45 minutes, and then pour 2 ounces in your cup.
How dare you tell me that right now?
Listen, this is what you could do, and then
I don't dare you tell me to do that. I will fucking kill you.
I won't dare you at any point. But yeah, then you could have the entire bottle and be like, guys, I'm tasting it for the first time. Where'd the other 20 ounces go? They evaporate over the last half an hour? I don't.
That's not what you're supposed to do when you do a review?
No,
Really?
apparently it gets a lot of subs and viewers and stuff.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't go that way.
Giving your full impression at the beginning of your review is not what
Yeah.
you're supposed
Oh
to
yeah,
do.
and the big sips, you take.
Yeah.
93 garbage.
I'm getting mango, pineapple, papaya, melon, red berries, bready malt, honey malt, all kinds of yeast. Just, oh my god, it's so crisp and refreshing. And I just had literally a quarter of an ounce. So yeah, it's great.
It's the best beer ever.
Yeah, best beer ever. I'd give it a 96. It's garbage compared to this one, which I gave a 96.2. In fact, I'm going to throw it out the window right now. Glass it all. Fuck it. I'll go buy another glass. What are you doing? What the fuck are you doing? All right, that's a little bit of rant. I'm good. Just kidding.
No, you're not good. You want to keep going. I know you want to keep going.
I do. It's just, it's funny because when you beer tube as opposed to like blogging like Joe's doing now and stuff, you can just see people and their bullshit. You can see it. Like that whole thing where you do like 3-minute reviews and you seriously have 3 or 4 ounces in your glass and it's a 22-ounce bomber and it's gone and you act like it's the first time you've tasted the beer. It's like there are some dumb people commenting back to you. Or they just don't care because no one like 2 people will call you out on your shit and like everyone else will be like, oh, you're magically great. It's like, oh my god, dude.
Well, that's even the worst part. If you call that person out, all the other people will dump on you, be like, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And you're like, well, actually, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Like,
I can see the bottle. I can see that it's empty.
It exactly comes down to it's like if you want to do that, I'm okay with that. All you got to do is in the beginning go, guys. I opened this up a half an hour ago. I've been sipping on it, and I'm going to give you my thoughts on it. And
that's actually a good thing. Like, I would like to see that.
If you're upfront about it, it's fine.
Yes, it's the honesty. It's not, hey guys, this is my first impression, despite the fact that the fucking bottle's gone. We can see we're not stupid. We understand. Well, some of us apparently are that view it, but like. You know, if you know what's going on, like you have an idea. You can see what you're doing. You're like, oh, hey, what happened to the rest of that beer there? And there's 3 ounces in your cup. Did you have a friend over? Did you pour it down the drain, or is it in your fucking stomach right now? Like, where did it go? And they just, and then they like he'll take a sip and you'll be like, wow, I did not expect that. Oh, you didn't. You really did. Is that? Come on, you did.
Well, all I have to say about that is you gave us your opinions on, people tasting beers before they review them. I wish there was another I wish there was another subject we could talk about, like jump cuts.
Oh yeah.
I wish you didn't like those, Joe. Talk about jump cuts for a minute.
I love jump cuts. It's one of the greatest inventions in the history of mankind. Because especially when it comes to beer tubers who love to jump cut, like they're fucking got 3 million subscribers and they make fucking $200,000 a year by posting videos. Oh, no one does? no one makes that type of money. So I got to sit through your 2.5-minute video of Jump Cut City, like. What the fuck are you doing with your life? I can sit through a 5-minute beer review. That is possible. Hey, I've sat through 15-minute beer reviews if people are entertaining. If you're not entertaining or, I don't know, informative, one or the other, preferably both, then you shouldn't make videos. And I don't need your shitty jump cuts to justify, oh, man, I see my average viewer watches a minute 37 of my video. Then make better videos. Or don't complain about it. One of the two. I don't know. Fuck it. I don't know.
Don't sugarcoat it, baby. Give us the real deal, man. Like, tell us what you think. Come on, name names. Come on, name names, baby.
There's no names. There's no need to name names. There's no need to name names. We've darted to go in one direction.
Me and Dart, because I know you're talking about me. Anyway, yeah. So, Joe, what do you think? And regular Joe, not average Joe.
All right, what are we talking about now? Because
about how awesome jump cuts are, like jump cuts in beer reviews, where you like edit them out. Joe, average Joe, is a huge fan. He thinks all beer reviews should be edited, multiple edited. Like there should be multiple edits in beer reviews. No,
at least 50 jump cuts in a 5-minute video, I quit. Like,
no, you know what's even better in a jump cut, Joe, is when it's like somebody's like talking and it's like a review, like right now, like, hi, I'm talking about this beer right now. Let's talk about this beer, and then it's jump cuts like, when we're talking about like where the volume just drops out completely to a totally different, like it's like a different universe. Where somebody's like they're recording in a vacuum. Yeah. I don't know what the fuck is happening. Like, that's my favorite. So,
for me, the best part of a jump cut when I watch the beer review is they'll be talking and be like, all right, let's get into it. Cheers. Oh yeah, man, that's really good. He didn't even fucking taste it. Did he taste it? I didn't see it. He jump cutted through the taste. I don't even know if he put it to the fucking glass to his lips and consumed it. He's just telling. Maybe he's lying. Maybe he just did like a head fake. He's like, oh, let's try it. Like, I don't know. Those are terrible. It's like I can spend 5 seconds to watch you consume the beer. Like, I can see you take the sip and then put it down. You don't have to jump cut through that. Like,
and that's the weird thing. Like with beer reviews, like I'm the worst because I've had 20, 30-minute beer reviews, so I could give 2 shits, but I've never given 2 fucks about time. I don't care. Like I would like it to be between 5 to 8 minutes. That's actually my fucking wheelhouse for me, because I know I like to talk, but I don't give a shit. Like I'm not gonna be like, okay, I need to speed this up. Like I need to be like, okay, and then be like, okay, we're done. You know what I mean? Like I don't give a shit. You know what I mean? I just don't care. I just don't care. Is that a flaw? I don't give a fuck.
No, I don't think so. I don't think it's a flaw.
I think everybody has a different opinion on what they enjoy. Like there's some people that do have attention span of a fucking 2-year-old child, where they can't watch a beer review, or they don't want to watch a beer review in 5 minutes. I can't blame them. Maybe they want to watch 15 different. Maybe they're subbed to fucking 200 beer tubers and they want to go and watch as many videos as they can. So if they look at a 5:01 video, they're like, it's over my 5 minutes. I'm going to 4:59. Like they can't handle that. That's fine. And same thing with when you guys are doing reviews. I know Joe talked about like he wants his to be not crazy like some of yours are, and I understand that. But it's like, if you're using jump cuts to get to, like, if you have a nice process where you can get a 5 or 6 minute review and you don't need jump cuts and you're just clear, concise, to the point, and that's how you want to do it, that's awesome. But to use jump cuts because you fucking babble too much, or you're terrible at what you're doing, or whatever the case, or you're just constantly laughing, giggling like an idiot, or whatever you're doing, just get better at what you're doing, and then you don't need the jump cuts, because
that's like with my reviews early on. When I started watching them again, I'm like, all right, nope, gotta get myself mentally into like, let's speed this shit along and save the bulk of my talking till the end. At least I've talked about the beer,
And no, I totally appreciate that. Like, what was I gonna say? About like I'm a weird person that I'm a pattern person. Like, I do everything in my life. I like sequence. I like doing stuff in a specific order. So, like, that's the one thing, like, I feel like that it's okay because I don't do shit a certain time limit, because literally, if you go to any of my reviews and you click to 2 minutes, you're going to hear my review. Then if you click to 6 minutes, you're going to hear my fucking gradings. Like, that's I'm not trying to do that, but that's how it works in my brain. Like, I talk for a bit, then at 2 minutes, I crack the beer, then at 6 minutes, I fucking talk about the fucking, what I rate the beer. All that other shit is rambling. So if you've watched a couple, you can just literally just be like, okay, I'm going to go to 2 minutes. Okay, I'm going to go to 6 minutes. Okay, I'm done. You know what I mean? Like, that, you get it the way you want it. But the whole, like, rambling part of it, I don't know. I just could never not do that because I'm egotistical or something. I don't know if I can know.
I think it's one of those things where, Joe, you started reviewing, like 4 years ago. A lot of guys that I started watching in beer tubing started a long time ago, where there was no proper way to do it. And there really is no proper way to do it, but there was, like, really nothing to go off. There's no template. You might have a couple guys, and you're like, I don't know if I want to do it like them, whatever. I always feel the guys that are the most real and the ones that I enjoy watching are the ones that are just themselves and very personable, and you can go on a rant for 30 seconds, or you can go off topic or joke or make jokes or crack jokes at other beer tubers. The ones I always find boring as fuck, and I want to choke and slap. Not really slap, just kind of choke a bit. are the ones that they do it as if they're reading a Beer Advocate written review, but on camera, if that makes any sense. Like, everything's by the book. Everything's very, in a way, pretentious. Like, they got fucking 37 tasting notes. Like, oh, I'm getting this papaya, but when you first cut into the papaya, and then this wonderful aroma pops out, but then after that aroma, it's like you're tasting the papaya for the first time, and then you let it soak up on your palate. And then you get this fleshy feeling, and I'm just like, when have you ever done that in your life? Have you seriously ever done that? Because if so, and you're harking back to it, I don't want to watch you. Click. Like, it's those guys that a Beer Advocate review, you know, a lot of people who do, like, they sit down and actually do. This is something
that's too personal to you. Done. Yeah. Thank you.
Well, but it's I don't mind the personal
it's
thing.
Synthetic. Like, synthetic. It's not organic.
Yes, it's very synthetic. Like, you've never done that. I can tell because looking at you, it looks like you've never had a papaya in your life.
Like, so, if somebody says if somebody's like, oh, I taste like a 1932 road tire. Be like, you've never tasted a 1932 road tire. Like, you've never actually tasted it. How could you say it tastes like that? Like, you've never actually fucking tasted it. Like, there's no way you could possibly say it tastes like that because you don't know.
Yeah. Or the ones that just list character after character, like, just like, it's not even like they're trying. It's just like, oh man, I'm fucking getting peaches and nectarines and mangoes and tangerines and blood oranges and navel oranges and mandarin oranges.
Just naming every citrus fruit under the sun.
Yeah, all the oranges in the world I've ever had in my life. Also, most tropical fruits. Let me think.
And a little orange marmalade too.
Yeah. Oh, a little bit more orange.
You gotta have the orange marmalade. It doesn't work if you don't have that.
It tastes like honeydew and cantaloupe and watermelon, all made a kid. That's what that tastes like. It's like, okay, all right.
The big thing for me, and I guess it comes through in my shit. Not that it matters, but I love people that don't cut at all. Like, I cut stuff in the middle every now and then if one of my friends says something super offensive, or my dogs try to hunt me in the middle of a fucking review, or something I need to cut out. That's the only time. Like, I really love somebody who does a review where they hit record, they hit stop, and it's done. That is my favorite, because, like, I understand somebody could do that over and over and try to, like, perfect shit, but beyond an introduction, and if the beer's sealed, then you're just getting visceral reaction, and that's what I want. I don't want, like, if you watch somebody that, like, does reviews, after a while you kind of be like, okay, this guy likes the shit I like, so if this guy likes the shit I like, if he drinks something I've never had and he likes it, chances are I might fucking like it. So then, like, if this guy's, like, drinking this beer I never had before, and he's not, like, doing a third or ninth or 100th take or drinking it beforehand, and he drinks it, and then automatically he's like, holy fuck, this is a fucking awesome. I can stop the fucking tape right there. I could hit close on the fucking window and go buy the beer, because I know I'm going to fucking like it. And that's what I like about, like, those kind of reviews, like, just shit that isn't edited. Like, I get Chris, I like what he does, and I'm not calling him out, like, on what he does, because I think what he does makes sense, in the sense that what he does, but just from everybody else, because it's kind of like, you know, you talk about, like, not to do whatever, but besides him and maybe one or two other people, I just like the clean, full review. I don't want any edits. It just seems fake.
What Chris does works for him.
Yeah.
It works for him. And people want to emulate what is popular, what is cool, and you see so many new beer tubers over the last year or two come in, and they've probably seen Christopher Beer Nation.
I'm gonna take a pee real quick, so go ahead.
There's no doubt about it. Like, they've seen Chris. They've started watching. You know, you type in beer review on YouTube, and more often than not, the first page may be entirely Chris's reviews,
and they want to emulate and replicate him because he's one of the few beer tubers that has 30,000 subs and is well known even in other beer circles. Like, hey, if you ask someone, hey, you watch beer reviews on YouTube, they'll be like, oh yeah, Beer Geek Nation, and I understand that, but he started 4 or 5 years ago, and he got a following because back then he was the one guy that had good production value. He did a good job with everything. So you see all these new beer tubers come in, and they go, man, how do I get popular? How do I get views? How do I get noticed? And then they start doing the same shit. Well, the funny thing is, there's really no money in beer tubing. Chris might make enough. But yeah, Chris might make enough per month to buy a couple bottles of beer. Like he's even at 30,000 subs and X amount of views, he's not living off of it. He's not like another guy that has a Let's Play channel that has millions of views or one of these popular beer tubers. He's making enough to buy himself a couple extra bottles of fucking beer.
Yeah,
right?
Really. And he's surviving off of his like lab technician job.
Yeah, he started it for fun, and it's a nice little side project for him. It brings in enough money for he can buy a couple extra things, but it's not, he can't live off of it. And so many people are thinking like, man, I can get into this, and if I get 30,000 subs, I'll be living the dream. It's like you don't understand how this works.
It's not in any way like doing Let's Plays for video games. Not at all.
The best you can hope for is like get breweries to send you stuff for free, which they'll do. I mean, Chris has partnered up with a couple different like websites that sell beer, and he'll get free shipment.
They're all sponsors of the show, but like, that's what you're gonna hope for.
That's the limit.
And they already have Beer Geek Nation, so what do they need you for?
There's a glass ceiling to beer tubing, and like people don't want to hear that. Like, well, what if I'm the greatest? There's no greatest reviewers because unfortunately for everyone here, unlike a Let's Play or a different kind of YouTube channel, you can only be so funny talking about beer. Plus, what people fail to realize is that in the States, and I know in Canada it's different, 19 I think, but it's 21 to drink here. Your core audience is not the 13 to 19-year-old kids that watch YouTube all day long because they go to school and that's what they do. You don't have those people at your disposal. You don't have that many viewers. You have other people who you hope like craft beer, and as craft beer is already a niche market anyway, it's like, what the fuck are you trying to think about?
And that's the thing with like people who eventually be like, if you have that dream, you be like, I'm gonna review beer and fucking make money off YouTube. The person that releases like Charlie Bit My Finger, who gets like 2 million reviews, makes like 60 grand or something like that. Like it's like they didn't get rich. Like you have to have like the people that have like YouTube videos that get millions of hits every month. Those are the people. Like off the top of my head, I'm assuming the average beer review video probably gets 500 views. I mean, that's probably actually overestimating.
Yeah, a little bit over, you forget all about those little beer tubers that have like 25, 30 subs and they get like 8 views. Yeah, there's a lot of those out there that like they don't run in any circles. They don't know any other. They're just doing it because they're for fun, like kind of how this organically started, 7 years ago with the first people. They didn't have any template to go off of. They just like, hey man, I like beer and there's all this crazy beer showing up. I'm just gonna talk in front of a camera, and I'm gonna upload to YouTube and hope other people. Now it's like there's like a set plan with all these new beer tubers. It's like, oh, can I do this? Can I do that? No, you can't, because it's been done before and no one gets anywhere. So if you want a beer tube, you better like fucking beer, you better like talking about it, and you better like interacting with people who fucking view your videos, because that's what it's about. It's a community, but in front of a camera. Like that's a simple concept, I think. People don't understand.
So why haven't you done a YouTube channel? I'm just curious, because I've never actually heard, like, who is anybody? Have you actually ever given an honest answer? You made a joke, and then dumped it off.
Yeah, it's about 2002 I was really considering it, just because I had talked to other beer tubers via, the comment section and things of that nature, private messages when they existed on YouTube, and now they don't anymore, so fuck you, Google. And then it kind of, I don't know, I kept on going, like, I'm going to start it, and then I just realized, like, it was like, I don't know. I like the community, I like the people in the community, I like talking about beer, but maybe it just passed me by in some respects. And I'm one of those people that, like, when I go full bore on a hobby or something that I'm really interested in, I go full bore on it. And I was like, I don't know if I can give, like, my total, like, posting 3-4 videos a week, editing, make sure, if I get a beer mail, because I did a lot of beer mails too, is the thing. Like, I gotta fucking film every single beer mail I ever get from people on YouTube.
No, you don't.
Well,
I think you're afraid.
afraid of. But I do beer reviews on other people's channels, so
it's different, man. It's different.
But in some ways,
just do what I do. Do what I do. Write beer reviews.
I write like a 3-year-old.
Yeah.
No, not really. But,
I just think you're afraid to put yourself out there. That's my thing.
How about this, man? Fuck right off. No, it's not even being afraid. There's nothing to be afraid about because it's like it really is simple at the end of it. It's just like
there is. There's nothing to be afraid about in the grand scheme of things because who gives a fuck what anybody thinks? But whenever you do anything, whether it be beer reviewing or fucking, doesn't matter what you do, whether it's acting or theater or fucking, it doesn't matter, music, anything you do, art, anything, you're putting yourself out there. When you put yourself out there, you're going to get criticized. It doesn't matter what you do. If you are the king of fucking Siam and you're fucking perfect at what you do, somebody's going to be like, you're a fucking asshole. And it sucks to be called an asshole. It does. It doesn't matter who you are. Like, even a person's like, I don't give a fuck. Like, it sucks. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's like, you just have to be like, okay, I don't give a fuck anymore. You know what I mean? I think you should do it. I think you should do it just to shut everybody the fuck up or blow shit up, because then it'll be just average Joe hour.
I think it's one of those things where I just don't want to half-ass it. Is what it comes down for me. Like I want to do a decent job from I don't know. It's just my own sake, like whatever my own opinion is. Like I don't want to just get on there and just here's a fucking video. There's no editing. There's no intro. There's no logo. There's just regular old video fucking right. I like it kind of like yours. You don't really have an intro, but you got your little logo. You do your shit. You have a format. Like I've never even thought about doing any of that stuff. Like I never even got to that point.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a format because I'm like, I sat down and going, what's the best format in which I could talk about? That's the shit that came out of my mouth. I was like, I'll just do that. I'll fucking keep doing that thing. You know what I mean? Like, it works for me. I mean, I do the whole, like, how you doing, YouTube? That's my beginning. And then at the end, I'm like, oh, hopefully you're enjoying whatever the fuck this is right now. Talk to you later. So I do this shit at the beginning, shit at the end, everything in the middle. So I'm like, whatever. So I think you should fucking do it, man. Like, seriously.
Look at this peer pressure. Look at this.
No, seriously. I'm telling you right now. My friend, fucking John Murphy, lives in Gouldsboro, Pennsylvania. He used to work for Waste Management. His sister fucking works for Procter & Gamble. If you need Pampers or like fucking like tampons or any of that shit, I could totally get you any of that stuff at all time, man.
I mean, you should probably get the Pampers for yourself because when I start my channel, you're gonna shit your pants. Yeah.
No, yeah, baby.
No, I probably will. I just, like I said, I gotta get, when I do it, I want to start it right. And then after that, it doesn't matter because you get into the whole habit and it becomes easier and easier, right? It does.
So we've reached the excuses portion of the show, everybody.
Yeah,
if you haven't tuned in yet, we covered glassware, we covered Prima pills.
We were
26 subs on the whole video.
I drive a Dodge Stratus.
People respect me.
Oh my God. Yeah, no, I think you should do it and stop being a fucking asshole. To be perfectly honest with you, I was gonna go with pussy, but I think asshole's more appropriate.
Joe, this peer pressure is just
it's not peer pressure. It's reality. It's what everybody's been telling you for like 4 years, except you've chosen to ignore it. Nobody knows anything.
Exactly. Never. So that people like Paul of PA Brutus, I don't know about that guy. He does shit in a dungeon where there's snakes running free. Like I don't know.
I love Paul's house.
We're doing a fucking review and there's gunshots, not once but multiple times in the middle of a review, and I'm just like, hey, what's going on? I don't know. Could be a murder, could be hunting, who knows? I'm like, that's all right. That's what's happening. That's great.
Paul from Hebrew News.
Like we are in the backwoods. I hope is a bear gonna attack tonight?
That's like the backwoods of Pennsylvania.
Oh, it was. Like driving to his house and his driveway's like a mile long of all stone and dirt, and I'm like, this is bad. I feel like Deliverance. Something bad's gonna happen back here, and I don't know if I'm gonna survive it.
If the banjos start playing, just run.
Banjo!
Yeah. I'm like, oh shit, what's happening? Oh.
Let's put it this way, like all joking aside, I drove through a covered bridge. Going to Paul's house. I drove through, in, and out of a covered bridge.
Yeah.
That's all there is to it.
Yeah.
So.
Paul's like, I got Amish neighbors, and I'm like, where?
Watch out for Paul Brew News, baby.
Shout out to Paul. He's like, I got Amish neighbors. I'm like, I don't believe you. He drives to their house with me. He's like, there they are. And he's like, pointing at them. Like, they're fucking people. I know they're Amish. They're not putting up a fucking, like, a shed or anything right now, or a barn, but they're there. And he's like, yeah, they're right there. I'm like, just drive back to your house. I'm done.
Okay, so... To get back on topic, because we jumped that fucking rail about fucking 45 minutes ago.
I was just gonna say, like, I don't even remember what our topic was for today.
We need to move on to glassware. If the brewery or bar or label screams at us, tells us like an asshole to drink beer out of a certain glass, does it matter? Or do you take it as gospel or whatever? So.
The only time that I've noticed this actually happening was early on when I got into craft beer. I got some of the little bottles of chime.
Yeah.
And I poured some into a Foster's glass, which is just a straight, like, doesn't even have like this little lip to it. It's just a straight glass, and the head fucking shot up the glass. And then I poured it out into a wider glass, and it like evened out and went up and looked real nice. So I'm like, oh, okay, this may be accurate. Like, they say put it into like a goblet or something, and yeah, I can understand why. You know?
Yeah, I mean, it's a weird thing. Like, I actually get kind of irritated when a bottle tells me what to do. I don't know if that's just me being an asshole.
Or whatever.
Do you yell back at it? You go, I do what I want.
Like, I'm a master of my own domain, motherfucker. I will drink it the way I want. I'm gonna drink it out of a radial tire. But like, I get it. Like, to me, beer recommendation temperature-wise, beer recommendation glass-wise, beer recommendation food-wise is almost like Fisher-Price My First Beer. It serves a purpose, but I think it's there for...
I don't think it's so much Fisher-Price My First Beer as, at the end of the day, it's a suggestion, do whatever the fuck you want.
Well, I personally think it's more like, okay, people are getting into beer, they don't know what the fuck's going on, this person, the 40 to 50-year-old housewife picks up a beer at the fucking Wegmans or Premier Gourmet or wherever the fuck for her husband, be like, I'm going to cook some fucking halibut tonight, you know what I mean? That kind of thing, or it's somebody that's getting into beer who's like, okay, I'm super excited about beer now. What should I eat with this? And they don't know, and they're intimidated to ask. So they see in the label, oh, I can eat this with this. Like, that's what that is for. It's almost like training wheels. Like, that's what I mean by Fisher Price. I can see that as well.
Yeah, no, I can see that. Yeah,
for me, it's the comparison I would make is it is for novices, people getting into beer, and it's just kind of like, what do typically a lot of craft beer newbies, for lack of a better word, what do they kind of gravitate towards when you first said, like, when I first got into it was like Sam Adams mix pack, Saranac mix pack, stuff that was cheap, but they do a good job of introing certain styles for you. So like if I go get a blonde from Saranac, it's not going to be sometimes even good. It'll be decent. It'll be tolerable. And then you'll be like, oh, that's kind of what I expect. And then I go get a blonde ale from a better brewery, and I'm like, oh, I can see why that's Saranac. But you get, for 12, 14, 15 bucks, you get a mix pack of, whatever, like fall beers. You'll get 6 different ones you get to try. Same thing with glassware. It's like, you don't know what to drink them out of. Look at the fucking bottle. It says, hey, why don't you drink it at 45? Why don't you drink it in, a Tula? Hey, I didn't know that. I got this big lager glass or this big mug that I drink everything out of. Doesn't matter what I drink. It's a good starting point. But once you get in and you become a seasoned vets like us, right? Once you become like seasoned into craft beer and you've had thousands of different beers, you're like, I know what glasses I like. I know what temperatures I like we talked about earlier. And if I see a fucking double IPA say drink it at 38 degrees Fahrenheit, I'm gonna be like, these guys are fucking idiots. Because there's no way I'm drinking a double IPA at 38 Fahrenheit in a mug. No one really does that, but you know what I'm saying. It's like it's great for newbies. It's great for people that don't understand what they're about to get into, because a lot of people just look at beer, whether it's craft or regular, as it's a beverage, whatever, it doesn't matter. It does in some ways.
Drink it. A lot of people are like, oh, what? Drink it ice cold out of whatever. What's the difference?
But that's the weird thing too. Like, you have a beer that's like telling you to drink it at 38 degrees. They'll be like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck? Like, I understand, like, that's for whatever, but why would they do that? They're trying to mute flavor for people that don't know. Like, a perfect example, I drank, this is one of the beers I had tonight. It was a Vivant, farmhand IPA, or like a farmhouse style ale, and on the side of it, it basically tells you to drink it out of a fucking shaker glass. Like, be like, be like, why? You know what I mean? Like, what are you doing? Like, I don't understand it.
One of those things for me is that I've seen it a lot, at least, and recently too, where people that are macro drinkers, they're used to like just pulling a fucking Budweiser out of like this big cooler with ice and everything, and they're like, oh, it's ice cold. The mountains are different colors. Right? It's like they're into it. Then they get over to craft beer. And they have that same mentality because it's beer. They're like, oh, someone told me to pick up this, 6-pack of this, or this 12-pack of this, and it'll be like a really good pale ale, and the pale ale will be 34 degrees Fahrenheit. There'll be no mountains to indicate it's cold, but you can feel and touch it because we're not idiots. And they'll start drinking it, and they'll be going, I don't really get a whole lot.
It's 30 degrees.
It's basically beer slush. Like. The whole point of craft beer is it actually has distinct
flavor.
Yeah, it has flavor. Now, it might not be flavor you enjoy, but it definitely has flavor. So let it warm up to 44 degrees. Try that, 10 degrees, and see what happens. And people their mind is blown. Like, how can I'm drinking a beer, but it's not ice cold? Yeah, now the concept, it happens. But people drink wine, and it's not ice cold. Some people like to drop ice cubes in their wine. There are people that do. I like it chilled, and then there's other people who are just like, I like it, on the cellar temperature. It's like, that's kind of our craft beers. I'm not calling it wine, but you have to kind of appreciate the flavors in there, and you can't appreciate the flavors ice cold. So to have the bottle tell you something, I think for a lot of people getting into beer, it blows their mind, but they're kind of like, oh, fuck, I'll give it a try. Who knows if they like it or not.
And that's the thing. It makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, from that aspect. Like, but at the same time, like today I went to Sab's, and I wanted, they had Duda CL. They got a bunch of Duda CL stuff in. One of my favorite Duda CL beers is the Root de Species. I just love that beer to fucking no fucking end. It's rye fucking peppercorn beer. I love it, and the one guy's like, oh, I'll throw it in the cooler for you. And then later on, I was like, actually, the guy threw it in the cooler for me. I'm like, if you can grab it for me. She, like, threw it in ice. She came over. She's like, it's not cold enough. I was like, I was like, okay. And then she walked away. I was like, wait a minute. I was like, give it to me. And I held it. I was like, that's perfect. And she's like, really? I was like, yeah. I'm like, it's not bad. You know what I mean? Like, so even people that know, like, she knew, like, the whole time I was ordering beers, I wasn't saying, give me a number 5. I was like, oh, give me a Delirium this and give me that. And she didn't hesitate. Yeah. She knew what she was talking about. At the same time, she knew information. She didn't know taste or nuance, I guess you would say. Yeah. So it was like more like I was like, no, that's fucking perfect. You know what I mean? I poured it and I enjoyed it. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's not as subjective, I would say, as beer goes, but it's still a thing that is a thing.
What I think it is it's steering you in a direction. Putting an ideal serving temperature or ideal glassware or whatever, it's steering you into a direction, and then from there you can then have a better feel of what should be at what temperature or in what glass, and then ultimately figure it out for yourself of like, I like this way at this temperature. Like you said with the DCL, the temperature was perfect for you. that may not be the perfect temperature for someone else, but for you, you know what you like, and there you go. It was good.
In the end, it's a very, very, for me, it's a very Belgian thing. It's like almost seems like America has adopted the temperature, not a glass, yes, but almost temperature thing. It was always a Belgian thing. Like I don't even remember when I started drinking beer like 15, 20 years ago. Like only Belgian beers had like glasses and temperature on their bottle. Like it was that was it. You know what I mean? Like they were like from then. Now it seems like a lot of beers, like actually more pairing is an American thing. I see a lot of breweries, like Stone will do it, AleSmith will do it. A lot of breweries will do it where they throw like beer, temperature, glass, and pairing on it.
Smoke Gouda.
Smoke Gouda, baby. Oh yeah.
But even like American-inspired Belgian stuff. You look at anything from Boulevard, and they have the glass and temperature on the label,
Yeah, but Boulevard is very Belgian centric. Do you know what I mean?
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
I think for American breweries it's also tough because when you look at advertising in this country, and not Joe's in Canada, but it's still the same, like from advertising aspect, you never see a fucking commercial. It's like, oh, get your relatively cool beer or anything like that. Get your ice cold. They fucking made a label that changes colors for the mountains to tell you how cold the shit is. Like, that's the mindset that the average beer drinker has, is like, it's not cold enough. It's not cold enough. So it's like you kind of try to change the perception of like it's okay to drink a beer that's just cool or slightly chilled or that nature.
Those beers have literally no flavor to them. There's nothing there.
Unless they're warm, and then...
Well, even when, there's nothing, there's no... When they're warm, they taste like fucking cardboard. It's like, there's nothing to them. You have to drink them so fucking cold.
No. Cream corn, too. Stop. Not just cardboard.
Corn,
come on.
No, that's
name brand cream corn, too. Name brand cream corn.
Yeah, high end. Not your lower end shit. Not Aldi's. We're talking Wegmans.
Del Monte cream corn. Does that exist? Del Monte cream corn? It's like an extra 10 cents a can. But those beers do have a time and place, and I think we all could enjoy an ice cold whatever. Like you can. It's not like they're not offensive. You drink an ice cold Bud, you're not gonna be going picking apart and going, oh blah 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 blah. It's like it's cold. It's bad for just refreshing.
The most appropriate that I've ever found to be drinking Bud Light. I was in Nashville and we went to Coyote Ugly. I'm like, all right, yep, Bud Light is what I want here, and then that's fine,
But it's also, like, I think it's a thing of, what is it, what's the word I'm looking for? Spacing on. Familiarity. Like, for example, like today, doing a radio show, this one guy was like, one of the guys does the show, he's like, yeah, I brewed beer this week, and he's like, I got a, not a false bottom, but, what do they call it, Joe, on a brew kettle, like a turbo, like something like you got a spout basically on his brew kettle to filter out like any sediment from like the brewery,
like a manifold or something, like
something like that. But it was basically he was kind of impressed at how clear his carboy was from when he was when he threw it in there, and I was like, I'm like, how is that a positive in my brain? That's what I'm thinking. He's like, oh yeah, he's like, I like it, but he's that person that came from it from a IPA standpoint that wants unfiltered or super filtered good beer. I'm like, I was telling him, I'm like, I love when there's a ton of funk in my beer. I'm like, when I take like a beer and I pour it and there's like shit falling out of it, I'm like, I get excited. And he's like, he looked at me like,
but there's also that,
I was like, yeah, I'm like, I love that shit.
Look how clear the Prima Pils was.
Yeah.
If you're just getting into craft beer and you're coming from, Coors Light, MGD, Budweiser, Bud Light, whatever, and you see Prima Pils, you're like, okay, I recognize that.
It looks like beer.
That looks like beer to me.
But I expect that from the Prima Pils. Like when I poured the Prima Pils, I didn't expect anything but what I got.
Absolutely.
But like this conversation was more like he brewed like something bigger, and I was like, nah. It's like, nah, it's like that's not I didn't say that, but I was like, yeah. So like he brewed like something that was like not super high, but pushing 8%. And I was like, yeah, I'm like, I like a little bit of haze. He's like, really? And I was like, yeah, actually, I'm like, tell you the truth, I'm like, when shit fucking falls out of the bottle, I'm kind of excited. And he's like, really? But it was in general, I was like,
yeah, but that's that differing of like expectations when it comes to beer. Yeah.
You should have told me he was doing it wrong. He was like, don't you know Budweiser uses beechwood? They use beechwood.
Beechwood chips that have been boiled.
Oh yeah.
For 9 hours.
They don't impart flavor. They just do a good job of filtering the shit out of it.
They're there to catch anything and help it sediment, like help it fucking settle out.
But that's the funny thing about advertising. Like in every Budweiser commercial, the only beer that's been beechwood aged for fucking who cares how long, and it's like your filter.
Yeah,
there's no beechwood flavor.
It's a wood chip filter.
Yeah,
that you're aging this beer on.
Well, what it is a movie based on a true story.
Yeah,
that's all it is. It's like, okay, you have a movie where some guy picked up a quarter, and then if he picked up the quarter, then he could be a superhero afterwards. He picked up a quarter. It's based on a true story. You know what I mean? Like, it's like Beechwood Asian, baby, and be like, yeah, we threw one tiny nugget of Beechwood in the fucking thing for 19 seconds, and that's all you'd have to do to call it Beechwood aged.
Beechwood aged, yeah.
I think and to talk about like the unfiltered versus filtered, you like a lot of unfiltered stuff. I think that's why a lot of these breweries that are getting a lot of hype, the Hill Farmsteads, the Trilliums, the things of that nature, they go to serious lengths to make sure that
it's not unfiltered.
Yeah, they are.
So you see the pictures of those beers? They look like hazy globes of neon.
Look at every follow Tired Hands on Instagram.
Yeah.
Follow Tired Hands. Every single beer that
looks like a lava lamp without the lava, without the bulbs in it. It's just neon.
What people don't fail to realize is that like imparting a lot more flavor. When you filter shit, you lose a little bit of that. That's why these places have figured out.
Absolutely, you're like that's the give and take when you're filtering an IPA. You're taking away some of that character, but it may last a little bit longer.
Yeah, it may last a little longer, but at the end of the day, it's like so many of these places that are doing it: the Tired Hats, the Hill Farmsteads, the fucking Bostons, the Second Fiddles, all the Vermont breweries, plus a lot of the Boston breweries now down to the PA and even New Jersey, like Carton and all them places. Mm-hmm. They're doing it because they realize that that's what the consumers want, and they realize they can build hype for themselves because of their magical flavor.
Yeah, it's almost like a trademarking thing to where it'd be like, look at how fucking unfiltered our beer is. Look at the color or the haze in our beer.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, if I get like a double IPA or even a regular IPA that I don't see some kind of even minute particles in, I'm just like, what the fuck? I don't know about that. Yeah. There's a strip of flavor away. I'm pissed. I paid $2.69 for this bottle.
Well, let's dive into that actually. Just as far as beer looks, like I'm like not to be whatever, but like I feel like 90% of the time when I pour a beer, I can guess if I'm gonna like it or not. Do you guys feel the same way?
A lot of times.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah. Well, a couple months ago, we went to one of the local bars, and I forget what we ordered, but it came out and it was super fucking hazy. I liked it because it reminded me of like trying shit at Tired Hands, but everybody else was like, "Yeah, I kind of want something else. Like this isn't really doing it for me." I'm like, "This is fine." And even the waitress, when people returned their beers for being this hazy, she's like, "Are you okay with this?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine. It's perfect."
But I mean, like when I pour a beer, like in a review, like when I pour it, I do the whole like label thing that I pour it.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm like, I'll be like, okay, this looks cool, but sometimes I'm like, holy fuck. I'm like, I know I'm gonna like this fucking beer right now. Like I just know, and I would say 99% of the time I'm right in my own brain for my own tastes. I'm like, I'm like, wow, it's not a matter of being super hazy because that's not the case, but it's just a certain consistency I'm like, well, I'm gonna fucking love this fucking beer right now. I know it, and I say it before I even taste it, and I'll taste it and be like, yep, this is fucking delicious.
Certain styles like it, yeah, like IPAs, double IPAs, even stouts. Like typically, like on just a stout pours like motor oil, and you get like a beautiful, like just fucking tightly packed bubble head, and it's fucking lacing everywhere. And it just looks at you're just like. The mouthfeel's going to be a proper fuck you, Paul. Fuck you, Paul. It's not thin. No, it's one of those things where it's like you see the proper, and you're just like, I just know the mouthfeel and body's going to be spot on, and I just hope the flavors follow suit. They typically do. Same thing with IPAs. If I pour an IPA, and you said it's not really about filtered and being unfiltered, but like if I pour an IPA and it's like crystal clear, like a fucking Prima Pils is or close to it, I'm just going to be like, not really sure about this one.
It's going to be just like, well, this just happened.
Yeah, unless it's like a Jack Abbey's like IPL, which those are as crystal clear as I have ever had, like in a hop forward, like IP whatever, right? Like India Pale.
And you can expect that because it's a lager. You know what I mean? Like it's almost like a different thing.
I'll be right back, guys.
Okay. Like there are so many like English barley wine. I know you're English barley wine, old ale junkie, self-proclaimed. But like same thing with that. Like if I just see like it looks a lot of times you get like a really nice barley wine that like has a red hint to it and it looks like diarrhea water, or even an old ale where you're just like you look at it, you're like, man, if that was in my toilet, I'd be very disappointed. But it's in my glass, it's fantastic. Like things of that nature, like you get really excited about it. Now if it's just like opaque and you're like, fucking, I guess maybe there's so many things that play tricks with your mind, that the whole mental aspect of it too. Like I think sometimes you can psych yourself out too. Like everything's great about it, like how it looks, how it smells, and you're just so excited. You get in there, and then the actual taste is just like.
And then it's also like it's definitely a style thing. Like a perfect example, like a beer I actually really like is Avery's Reverend. It's a Belgian quad. It's not a Belgian quad. That's what they label it as. And I actually really like that beer. It's like overly sweet for the style, but I really enjoy it. And when you pour it, it's like almost like not Prima Pils clear.
Yeah.
But it's very clear. And to me, if I'm gonna get a quad, I don't want to see that through that motherfucker. I want diarrhea water. Yeah. When I get a fucking quad, I want it to be hazy as fuck, unfiltered as fuck, and look like fucking garbage, sewer water. And it's clear. You could see through it, and I like that beer. I could drink that beer and I enjoy it, but it's not a quad. And to me, like that's almost like a style-specific thing. Like, not all quads are Belgian darks, and no Belgian darks are. You know what I mean? It's like there's specific things in a style to me that make a style.
Like, give me another example is a lot of times like something that we're not all probably too into, but you can appreciate them, is like a fruit beer, right?
Yeah.
Like let's say like Founders Rubaeus or something like that. One of the better fruit beers, I think, like that. You pour that, and if you were to pour that out and it was golden, you would be like, here we go. Here we go. They either filtered the absolute piss out of this, they didn't use enough raspberries, or they're using fake flavor. You pour that fucking beer out, and you're like, this thing is like it's red. It's exactly what I think a raspberry beer would be. And then you taste it, and you're like, yeah, it's fucking raspberry. It's like raspberry juice. Like that's what it is. You get those, and you're like, okay, I like yesterday at that beer fest, I had a single cut Beersmiths in New York, really great brewery. They're I think Astoria, New York, so closer to New York City. They make a lot of great IPAs, but they had a hibiscus sour lager they brought, which was really cool. They used hibiscus, black currants, and then they I think it was lacto they also used in it, but
really
it poured out. The shit looked like thin tomato juice. I was like, this is the coolest shit ever. It looks like what I want to drink. Now, the lager base I thought was very just average, but like you could get the hibiscus and the black currants, and there was the nice tartness, not really super sour, but it was just like, if they gave me that and it was golden with all the shit in it, I would be like, oh. I just like instantly my expectations level would just like drop like 20 points, and I just
like,
like, what is
that's funny. That's funny because I had like a Rubaeus and fucking Delirium Red today. Both basically exactly what you're talking about. Fucking Delirium Red. Have you had it yet, Joe? Ever, Joe?
I haven't had it.
Have you ever had Turkey Hill fucking fruit punch?
Yes.
It's Turkey Hill fucking fruit punch.
Oh my god.
Beer. It's Turkey Hill fruit punch beer. Yeah. Exactly. We reviewed it. Me and Joe reviewed it probably like 6 months ago. or even longer, probably almost a year ago, maybe. And fucking.
It was definitely. It was over. I think it was when I was in for.
No, it was before you left brewery school, dude. Like it was like in August of last year, and we reviewed it, and I haven't had it since. And then when I went to Sabs, they had it in fucking draft day, and they had Rubeus and that. So I was like, okay, give me both. You know what I mean? Like side by side, 4 ounces. Oh my god, it's Turkey Hill fruit punch beer.
That sounds.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Hey, your dick's blown off. I know.
No, it's all right. I'm going to pick it back up so I can feel something. Jesus, it's it's one of those things where like you give a description like that, and it's like I want to go get it because Turkey Hill fruit punch is like diabetes in a fucking jug. It's like I just want to drink it all.
And give them the Bettis, baby.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, this has like 6% alcohol. What the fuck? I'm in a corner somewhere drooling on myself.
Okay, I'm gonna go grab a beer. You guys talk.
All right.
You know what? One thing I want to mention is like blueberry beers. Saranac had their Saranac's at the fest. It's fucking Saranac, and I typically wouldn't get Saranac shit because it's Saranac, right? Like that's what I got into beer, like, and then I stopped.
That's kind of how I feel about Saranac. It's very much like a
beginner beer.
Yeah, and Flying Dog for me was I'm getting into craft beer. Yeah. I'm gonna drink a lot of Flying Dog kind of stuff, and that's.
You appreciate it for what it is. You appreciate it. It's like they have a place in the marketplace. Like it's perfect. Like, and they're cheaper and stuff. Yeah. But at this point, it's like you don't really go back too much. And Saranac's exactly like that. But they had this. They had a blueberry blonde, and then they had Pacific Galaxy. It was a double IPA they made with kiwi hops, or Australian and then New Zealand hops. And I was like, I gotta try this for fucking Saranac. I gotta try this. It was good. It was like really good. It was juicy. Had like white grape. Your typical. I think they were using. I want to say Nelson Sullivan and maybe Galaxy and a couple other things. And I was like, this is probably the best Saranac beer I've ever had. Like, I still give it like maybe like a 90 out of like still, but 90 for Saranac beer is like 100 for everyone else.
Yeah, really.
Then I tried the blueberry blonde, and then I get a pour of it and I look at it and what is it? It's fucking gold. And I'm just like. So I smell it and taste it, very faint blueberry, but it was real blueberry. You know how the difference, like the blueberry, you can like even smell like the I always say like seediness, but just like how it just the mushiness, like blueberry. It wasn't the blueberry yogurt like in your grill, super fake. So I appreciate it. I was like, it looks like maybe they're trying to do something better. It was as average as could be for a blueberry beer. But I just want to point this out because blueberry beers.
When it comes to fruit beer, for me, sorry to cut you off there, but
no, that's fine.
I don't want juice. Mm-hmm. I don't want to feel like I'm drinking a glass of carbonated juice. I want to feel like I'm drinking beer with fruit then added to it. Yeah.
Yeah. And for me, it's all about the authenticity of the fruit. Like I want, we've all had real watermelon, and then we've all had watermelon candies. We've all had real raspberries, and you've had raspberry candy, strawberry. It's the same concept. Mm-hmm. So when I drink a blueberry beer, for instance, it's like if I taste fucking Yoplait yogurt blueberry flavoring shit, I'm just like I'm instantly put off because I'm like I know they use fake shit. So when I actually taste a real blueberry, I get really excited. But I agree with you. I always feel like if you're using the fruit beers correctly too, you get the tannins from the skin that kind of gives you that nice dryness and offsets the excessive sweetness from the berries. Not many breweries do that well though. It's always just like either super sweet or super fake.
Yeah. I mean, I did a wheat beer where I used apple, and I kept the peel on a bunch of the apples that I cut up.
Yeah.
It has such a weird smell to it. It's almost like an off-putting smell, but then when you taste it, it's like, oh, this is just a pretty good wheat beer, But like, if you had that smell in a commercial beer, you'd be like, ugh, no, what is going on here? But like,
in Canada, there's Bud Light Apple now, and I'd imagine that has that smell, that taste, and everything else about it. But I can't confirm that. I just imagine based on Bud Light Apple, and every single Rita line they have that isn't beer is malt liquor, but they use the Bud Light name because they're fucking. Oh, we gotta advertise as Bud Light. Everyone will drink it. No, they won't. No, they won't. Fucking Ritas. Oh, God. But yeah, it's malt liquor, basically.
So where are we going with this? What else we got to say, baby? We covered. We covered like glassware, what we like, what we don't like. We covered a whole bunch of shit in the middle about like random shit.
Yeah, a lot of stuff.
And we reviewed Prima pills, and then we started talking about like bottles that tell you what to drink out of. After that, I don't know, man. I think we're getting close to the end here.
There's a lot of ranting. Yeah, there's a lot
of ranting. I like it.
A lot of ranting.
I like the ranting.
Ranting's good. Ranting.
That's fun.
Ranting's good. Give it my hand. One rant right in my hand. Just pour it in my hand and rants.
I think there's like a 40-minute ranting off-topic section where we went from the first topic to the
That's what it's all about, baby. Baby. You have not given me one Dusty Joe this whole review,
I said
baby.
I wouldn't.
You said to who?
Not me. We're keeping it classy. We're just going to insult other YouTubers.
Okay.
All right? We're gonna,
wait, who else? Wait, no. Who else do you want to insult? Is there anybody else when you want to make fun of? You want to make fun of Paul in his dungeon or Ethan in his fucking mustache? Do you want to make fun of fucking what? Well, I would say you want to make fun of fucking Lee, but he's not a beer tuber anymore, so he doesn't matter. He doesn't matter. He doesn't matter at all. You want to make fun of? You want to make fun of Guy and his weird penis, or fucking
his weird penis? I was not aware that he had a weird penis, but now I am.
I just assumed that's British Columbia for you, baby. I don't know what the fuck's going on.
He lives in French
the Maritimes. I don't know.
It doesn't matter. Canada's there. It's just there.
It's all the same place. They just say it's different to Americans.
It's Canada. It's one place. It's like saying the mall. Be like, I'm from Pennsylvania. I'm from the mall. You're from Canada.
By the way.
The what?
Yeah, I know.
I said thank you for rewording my joke. By the way.
What joke? I don't even hear it. I can't reword shit I never heard.
I said Canada's all one place. They just say it's different for Americans.
Oh, you're the first person to ever say that. Okay, thank you, Andy Kaufman. Anyway.
What I've heard, and this is from other Canadians, so this is not for me, but I've always asked the question, like on BDU when people are drunk, it's typically people from the Maritimes, and I was informed that that's what they do.
Okay.
They get drunk. Yes, that's what they do, and I said okay.
Well, let's touch on that for a second. Who's the drunkest person you ever saw on BDU?
Okay.
The guy this week?
The guy this week couldn't form sentences as he entered. He kept on saying, Lee, can I tell you something? And everyone's talking. Shut the fuck up. Let me tell Lee something. And they were like, go ahead, tell Lee something. I can't do it. You're tossing at that point when you can't open your eyes and you're rambling. One of the drunkest moments I've seen is back in this old school. There's this guy named John. He was John in Kingston, Ontario. He lived, and then he moved to Mississauga, Ontario. But he fell asleep in the hangout, snoring right on fucking camera for like a half an hour straight. But Lee is probably the drunkest dude I've ever seen. One night he drank a 12% barrel-aged imperial stout. And it was 64-ounce entire growler of it. Drank it in about an hour and a half, 2 hours. Then moved on to 2 bombers of an 8% double IPA. Now we're talking 3 hours max that he probably drank the equivalent of like 18 regular beers, right? We all wondered where he went. We didn't see it happen, but he was no longer on camera for like the last 20 minutes, and we're just like, where did the lead just give up? Did he quit? What happened? The next day he's like, hey guys, I got so drunk I fell off my bed and I was unconscious.
Maritimes, baby.
I was like, if you're so drunk that you just fell off I couldn't even see it. I went back to look, I couldn't see it. Apparently fell off his bed, he's unconscious, and that's where he laid for hours. I'm like, that takes the cake for me. That's what happens when you drink 60. How do you drink 64 ounces of a 12% barrel-aged beer? I don't care if it's the greatest beer ever. How do you drink 64 ounces of that? But he did it, and then he drank more after. So I was like, tip my hat to you, good sir. That's great.
Okay, so basically we covered all the points. We actually did cover all the points we wanted to cover today. We definitely took a very roundabout kind of Khaleesi kind of roundabout over here to the fucking Westeros, maybe over there to the fucking whatever path, and there is no dragons involved. So anyway,
bringing Game of Thrones into it now.
Yeah. I'm throwing it in there for you, buddy. I'm trying to tickle your fucking fancy.
All right.
And
I would like to apologize for the quality of this specific podcast and the fact that it went like 2.5 hours long.
Actually, this is the best one we've done, so don't apologize. So.
I'm coming back, never again.
You're coming back. I like you.
I like you. Your name's Joe. Right from the get-go. Like, your name's Joe, and you know he's trying to pit us against one another. He's like, you got the same name. That's something that we're bonded together, man.
We are.
I don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't like it.
Fuck people named Matt. Oh, God.
Yeah,
right.
with one T. What kind of... Oh, you're special. That's just one T, not two. You should have two of them. Like, there's two Joes here.
I was trying to think of a shitty person named Joe, but I can't think of them. So
No, they're all awesome.
Yeah. Exactly.
There's no shitty people named Joe.
No! Crazy Joe DeBola. From fucking Seinfeld. Crazy Joe DeBola from fucking Seinfeld.
It's a fantastic character. Wrong again, Matt. Matt has a beer reviews are wrong.
So there you go. I hope you enjoyed the shit show. It was probably 2 hours plus long, and if people want to find us, where can you find us? Average Joe, where can they find you? Because you have no YouTube channel, so tell them where to find you.
Listen, I got 26 subs. They're the best subs in the world because I provide no content for them, and they don't have subs. So you can't get much better than that. You can find me randomly whoring around on YouTube on people's channels, just doing duo reviews with random people. I don't even know half their names. They just like, hey, you want to drink a beer on camera? And I'm like, yeah, but I don't have my own channel. No, Average Joe 716 on YouTube, doesn't matter. Only other place social media I'm on is really Untapped. Same thing, Average Joe 716. Yeah, that's it.
How about you, Joe? Normal Joe.
Well, go back to the... you can find us, myself and Amanda, on nepabeerreviews.squarespace.com. Also, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Twitter for me at NEPA Beer Reviews. For Amanda, NEPA Beer Blogger. And then Untapped, NEPA Beer.
That's way too much stuff. Anyway,
a lot.
You can
way too much.
Yeah, you can find me, Massive Beers, and Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Untapped, all that fun stuff. And apparently now on Sundays at noon on Beer Geeks Radio. So that's kind of fun.
Cheap plug.
Yeah, cheap
plug.
That's absolutely the cheapest plug you can possibly find.
You wanted this shit show, he plugged you at the end. It's like the 2 hour, 18-minute mark. You got plugged.
Yeah. It's called a sandbag, baby. Sandbag it.
That's what you get for not knowing soccer. Actually, I knew soccer. Never.
So hopefully you guys enjoyed the show, and hopefully see you next time. Cheers.
Cheers.